What's up, guys? It's your boy TPP, and I'm back with that True Crime Talk live, baby. Let's go. All right, guys, before we go, though, you know what's up. You guys know the drill. Help your boy out. Smash that like. If you haven't already, if you're new here, smash that subscribe. And, share it. Share it. Share it if you're coming in live. Share it if you're part of the replay gang. I'd appreciate it. All right, guys. Whew. How you guys doing today? Let's see. See if some more people are gonna roll in before we get off into it. But yeah, guys, what I got in store for today is we're gonna go over a video as like a refresher of the affidavit, so we can kind of like, for some people can catch up on stuff they may have forgotten, because there was a lot. There's a lot, man, and I'm starting to notice since this 48-hour special popped off. I'm checking in on everybody's content, this dropping content on this, and since this 48 hours thing has dropped, a lot of people, man, they're putting out their content again, and dude, I just feel like people are getting so much wrong, and it's baffling to me. Okay, I see you guys rolling in. What's up, chat? Good to see you. Okay, Pat Gaines, good to see you. Luna Moon, good to see you. Hindsights, good to see you. Right on. Hope you guys having a good one. Good to see you guys here. But yeah, where was I at? So I just feel like it's crazy at this point to see people getting it this wrong still. So, and like I said, I feel like we need to prep for the trial. True, Luna, right? It's baffling. At this point, it's absolutely baffling, to say the least. But yeah, so I want to refresh a bunch of stuff. I want to like get a little bit deeper on some of this evidence and what it could mean before we get to the trial, right? That way, at least the people that follow this channel, I could say that I did my due diligence and really covering things properly and preparing us all for the trial, to have a better understanding of what we should see going into the trial, so we can kind of debunk a lot of the nonsense going around. Steffi, good to see you. All right. Some people rolling in. But that being said, guys, we're almost 3 minutes in, so I think we're gonna go ahead and jump to the first video app queued up. We're gonna go to Law and Crime. You got Jesse Weber, which was he's one of my favorites. If we're talking, the talking heads over at a bigger platform. So we're gonna do this. It's gonna go over the affidavit. We're gonna get kind of refreshed. I'm gonna do the thing, interject here and there. Fair use, have to do it. So that being said, guys, let's jump into it. And let me know in the chat if you guys can hear it. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Hit them ones.
For you, and that is that the probable cause affidavit in the Idaho 4 murder case has officially been released, and we are learning new details about what led police to arrest suspect Bryan Kohberger. Talking about him for a minute, he's expected to appear.
Okay, and I know it's redundant, guys, and I know it's redundant. And the reason we're going over this, there's good reason, because I've seen a couple decent-sized creators, right, covering this on lives, and like I said, man, some of you guys are awesome at editing. Some of you guys are awesome at making thumbnails. But as far as like dissecting a case, some of y'all are missing. Thank you, Pat Gaines. I'm seeing the one. BM Turtle Madness, good to see you. Amazing. Some of my favorite people already showing up. Right on. But I want to recover this stuff just because it's like I listened to a creator literally doubt the legality of Bryan Kohberger's arrest. I'm not playing, guys. I am not playing. I'm not playing. They literally questioned the legality of the arrest. I'm like, wait, did you not read that. I mean, you got like 15, 20,000 subscribers, like your lives, like you get a lot of views. Like, how are you serious? How are you going to question if the arrest was legal? Are you dead ass? But anyways, guys, so that type of silliness is why we're just going to cover this just to make sure everybody has seen it. Let's keep going.
Today, after being extradited back to Idaho, he's accused of 4 counts of first-degree murder. He's also facing a burglary charge. We know that the suspect arrived yesterday evening to the Latah County Jail hours after authorities flew him out from Pennsylvania, where he was later booked. And a lot of people across the nation are interested in this case. We are going to take your questions, so please submit them on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. But right now, we have to break down this probable cause affidavit.
Thank you, BM. Thank you. Donna Clark, good to see you. Miss Darcy, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Right on. A ton of you guys showing up. It's going to be a good conversation. I can already feel it. Why would they choose Bryan out of all of Idaho/Washington? I'm sure as we get into this, it'll answer a lot of questions. No problem, DM. Thank you. Criminal Meg, good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate that. I literally listened to a content creator question the legality of the arrest. So it was like they actually read the entire affidavit, right? And like they questioned the judge's decision. The person had to realize the judge has to sign off on this, right? It wasn't like Ellie was like, okay, I think we got the guy. I think we got him. I think we got him. So let's just put this story together. Sounds good. But we're going to go arrest him. No, that's not how it works. You have to, like, you know what I mean? You got to judge and this and that. And like, there's steps. There's steps. So you're questioning so many steps. It just, to me, it's insane. It's like, did you not read the affidavit like the rest of us did? I digress, guys. I can't help it. It's good. This is going to be a long one, guys. This is probably going to be a long live. So hopefully you have your refreshments, a snack. But because it's only 3 videos we're going to be reviewing, reacting to, and talking, like kicking our questions around and whatnot. So it's going to be a long one.
David, as I said, we are learning things that we did not know before. As you can see, I'm casually dressed. We had to jump on the air immediately to get this to you. I want to bring in my 2 special guests to talk more about this. I'm joined right now by law enforcement instructor Sonny Slaughter. I'm also joined by forensic death investigator from Jacksonville State University, Joseph Scott Morgan. It is great to have you both here. I'm going to start with you, Sonny, and I'm going to start with one of the most shocking revelations.
And just because I need to stop this anyways for fair use, but the next 2 videos, right? So we're doing this as a catch up, this video, but the next 2 videos, we're going to touch on the DNA. We are going to look at a interview with CeCe More. And we're going to cover some DNA. I got put on to CeCe More by subscribers. They let me know. I had a couple subscribers hit the Discord up, and one of them like loaded me up with some pretty choice Idaho 4 info. So we're going to cover the CeCe More DNA. And then there's about 12 days ago, we had, I think it was Court TV drop. I think it's Court TV drop. You know, they're a little piece on it. So we're going to go over that because it talks about the FBI tampering. It talks about a lot of stuff. It talks about transparency in the courtroom. And I feel like these 3 videos are just going to be a good, refresher. And I think our deep dives are going to get a little bit crazier because I'm going to see if I can't I think we're going to start doing some panel. I know a lot of y'all are probably going to be excited about that one, but I'm going to start not doing like crazy big panels or anything, but I think, we'll bring up one person at a time and let them kind of give their piece on what they've researched and their opinions and ideas. Because I want to start getting you guys up here and connect that way a little bit more, not just, me responding to your all's chats, even though I dig that, obviously. But let's jump back into it. I'll be going full-wheel drive, baby, off in the weeds.
In this probable cause affidavit, which I will tell you is more detailed than I would have imagined. It's about 19 pages. First up, we had a lot of questions about the 2 surviving roommates that were on the ground floor in that house. According to the probable cause affidavit, I'm going to read it for everybody. DM, who is one of the surviving victims, she said, DM stated she opened her door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase.
All right, guys. Okay. So I've covered this ad nauseum. I know, right? But this is a sticking point for a lot of people. And this is a sticking point for a lot of people, the whole DM situation, because people cannot wrap their mind around this girl being like in a catatonic shock phase, whatever situation, whatever you want to describe it as. But let me tell you, right now, if you want, so we could just really wrap our minds around that situation, if you want, literally go Google it. Go Google how long can a human be in a catatonic state from shock. Go look at it. I promise you. What you're going to see is hours, weeks to months. So I know, hopefully some of you are actually looking it up and like verifying what I'm saying. I would really like that because, like I said, this channel is all about, you do speculate, but it's on the facts. It's on the facts. But go do that search. Just go Google it, like straight up. And that'll kind of help you understand, like, it's not that crazy. For me, at least. At least that's my opinion. But you can definitely Google it.
The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. Now, later on in this probable cause affidavit, when they were able to determine that it might have been Kohberger, they looked at his license plate and noted the bushy eyebrows. The idea that someone in this house saw him is unbelievable. What's your reaction, Sonny?
It's absolutely unbelievable. I'm just printing out the affidavit right now and trying to go through it, right before we went on the air.
Girl, how bad would that suck? Be like the only discerning trait that you could see is his bushy ass eyebrows. Can you imagine getting caught by your bushy ass eyebrows? Hey, Nanny423, good to see you. Good to see you. Let me see. What do you guys say in the chat real quick? Let's see. There are people. Yeah. I mean, see, so you understand, like it's medically possible for her to have been in a state where she's not calling for help, she's not responding to anything, and we still don't know how she came to, right? We still don't even know that. There's so much we don't know, but for me, it's like I'm trying to dispel some of the sticking points for people, because there's a lot of people that will listen to these other content creators, and the other content creators will be like, there's just no way. I don't believe it. There's no way a person can, experience shock in a catatonic state and not call. Like, there's no way. Even like some content creators who've had either personal situations or know somebody that's been in a situation where they were in a traumatic, and they responded. They were able to respond. Not everybody's like that, especially if you have previous trauma. I'm just saying. So dispelling stuff like that to try to get people past sticking points so we can like really look at the big picture. That's my goal. I want us to look at the big picture and have like a really good grasp of the overall picture before we get to trial. So y'all don't waste your time going and look and watching other crap. Like, because there's other things y'all could watch from other content creators that's good. Like Summer Wells' case, like there's good content being put out right now. There's like a really good push right now for her case. So yeah. So if I could be the guy that just clears up the Idaho 4 stuff, that's what I'm going to try to be for my people. I'll shut up, guys. I'm sorry. You know how I get.
This is one of the most detailed affidavits that I have ever seen. And this is the reason why they got the guy. There's nothing to suggest that he was not present. They have the DNA, they have everything that they need. But more importantly, it's the eyewitness, the details and the level of detail that law enforcement has provided in this affidavit. There's no reason and there's no way that a judge would not have weighed in and said this is absolutely necessary.
So, a few things to note. Again, throughout this discussion, he is innocent until proven guilty. But what this lays out is the probable cause by which they felt necessary to arrest him. What is so eerie is to hear this account of the roommates. They heard people saying in the upstairs room to the effect of, "There's someone here." They heard one of
Miss Melody, good to see you. Welcome. Good to see you here. And check it out. There's like a lot of things as well too that I feel like people get hung up with, as far as like what was heard, right? What DM heard. And like I said, man, if you were in, let's just be honest, right? College students, they all like to party. It was a party house. They all went places. They were well-to-do young people. So granted, they like to party. There's no telling what kind of state she was in before this even happened, right? She could have been under the influence of things that would make you already question what's going on. There are multiple party things, substances that you can take that'll literally make you question a lot of reality. So you could be in another state hearing things and just be trying to rationalize it because you're in a state where you're like, okay, I don't want to be tripping. I'm just going to rationalize what I'm hearing as just normal stuff that's going on out there. You know what I mean? And then it leads up to her seeing the person, and then all of a sudden, shock, whatever she's seen put her in a shock, right? And then from there, it's medically explainable being in that state for that long. So I feel like it all makes sense to me, man. Like it's not that hard to see. It's just, at least for me.
one of the victims say that.
Hey, Roger,
They
Lee,
heard
good
a
to see you,
voice
sir.
say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," possibly from the killer. Now, Joseph, I'm going to go to you because this is something that we had suspected about the murder weapon.
Thank you,
now,
BM.
I will tell you, the murder weapon has not been recovered, but this is what we have. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side, Madison Mogan, one of the victims, when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, the suspect profile, left on the bottom snap of the knife sheath. Now, of course, that's important, Joseph, because we had suspected for a while that, and we actually had Phil Waters on our Sidebar podcast who said this could be a K-Bar military-style knife. Now, just to reiterate this.
Okay, I got to stop fair use. Let me see what you guys are saying in chat. Let's see. Criminal Med, what do you think on that? Because I'm interested. I'm trying to get everybody's opinion because I really don't think that the two surviving victims really, outside of them probably stashing some stuff before law enforcement got there because they were scared of getting in trouble, right? Outside of that, I don't really know what else they could know about it. Because like I said, there's really, think about it, with all the leaks that have happened, we have no leaks of connections to Kohberger, to any of them, really, that are verified. Don't come for me. So just interested in that to see exactly what you guys think. What do you think the two roommates' connections to all this is, if there is a connection outside of them just being in a house that was targeted by a psycho? Let's see what are you guys saying. See, and that's kind of where I am too. I think that's why I've been not so aggressive in judging the kids, is like looking at it rationally with what I think happened, that makes sense to me, because I'm looking at it more as a budding serial killer that did this, not anybody that's connected to like a gang situation, a drug situation, a revenge situation. This to me, I'm looking at like it's more of a budding serial killer situation. So I don't feel like, if you look at it from that aspect, it doesn't make sense that they would have anything to do with it. But for those people that think they do, and there's an alternate, scenario from what I'm thinking, I am interested to see what people are thinking about it, whether they knew him, they, you know, sold something to him, what the connection is, you know what I mean? I think she may have seen something out her window. Okay. All right. I like that. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. It definitely is. Let's see. What do we got? Peg. True, right? So they aren't, right? And that's the thing too, is there's a lot of people that want to say that these survivors are just survivors and not victims. Dude, how could you say they're not victims? No, they're scarred for life. They lost. Because I mean, we consider, right, the victims' families victims. So how are you going to be in the same house where your friends and roommates get, you know, unalive? You have survivor's guilt, whatever the case may be. The rest of your life is scarred. How are you not a victim? Like, you're a victim at some level, right? Am I wrong, guys? Am I wrong? Let's see what you guys saying. What are you guys saying? Let's see. And that's a possibility, criminal med. And I'm hoping that's all that it is. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that comes out too, so that it clears things up. Because I feel like these kids are going to be owed like a lot of apologies from a lot of creators online. Because there's a lot of creators that have gone in on these crazy theories with those two surviving roommates. I agree. BM, I agree. Totally. Man, you guys have some good stuff in chat. I love it. Let's see what else you guys saying. True, right? Criminal med, that is perfectly put. That's perfect. That's like one of those many things, right? They're gonna have to live with the rest of their life. Being alone in the house at night, being alone anywhere, right? Especially at night. Like, just the darkness now, the darkness to those survivors is gonna be, I mean, imagine, you know, you're like 3-year-old and you're scared of the dark. It's gonna be like that, like times a million for the rest of their life. Like, it is. There's no way around it. They were in a college town where everything's, for the most part, on the up and up, in a small college town at that comfort, right? And you go to sleep and you wake up the next day and this is transpired. Or if you're, you know, your DM, you saw what you saw or experienced what you experienced, right? Bro, God, can you guys believe? Could you imagine it, dude? Let's see what else you guys saying. I know I got to get this video rolling. I told you guys it's going to be a long live. It's probably going to be a long live because I got to respond to you all. I got to see what you guys are saying. I've been waiting all day to get this live in. I've been kind of refreshed on the Idaho 4 thing. The 48 hours created so much more things to debunk and talk about. So I was excited for it. Let's see. Thank you, BM. Thank you for reminding them. Sounds true. I mean, and then the smell, right? So it's like, okay, let's talk about that. So the sounds, for sure. There's no telling. Like I said, under the influence of whatever, the young lady downstairs, she may have been out. You know what I mean? There's no telling. And as far as smells, like, I don't know about downstairs. It would be, I think there's so many factors to the smell and how bad it would be. But if DM was in that catatonic phase, the smell wouldn't have mattered anyways. That wouldn't even, I wouldn't really factor into anything. You know what I'm saying? But make it valid points. I love this conversation, guys. You have no clue. Let's see. Yes, counseling. Lots of counseling, BM. Lots of counseling. All right, survivor guilt. A criminal med, I think everybody fall in this case. Like I said, we all feel that, and none of us are going to forget these faces and names. Guaranteed, none of us will. Hey, Tashi, good to see you. Right on, Tashi's here. Good to see you. KD, good to see you. Man, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for being here. That's what I was trying to get out. All right, guys, I'll continue with the video.
Later on in the affidavit, they did a DNA test. And what they did is on December 27th, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. The next day, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Joseph, what do we make of that?
All right, before we hear from Joseph, okay, one, fraudulent, I mean, exactly, right? Exactly. And that's why we need cameras in the courtroom. Please, right? Please. We need it. We need that. What else we got in chat? Yeah, I mean, criminal men. I mean, think about it, right? It really is it's one of my pet peeves during this situation as it's unfolded, to hear people say that those two survivors aren't victims. Like, it's driven me crazy. I don't feel like it's a responsible statement to make, especially as a true crime creator, to make that statement that they're not victims. It's extremely irresponsible, in my opinion. Don't come from me. Let's see what else you guys saying. Pat Gaines, I appreciate that. I try to keep it, keep it 100. I like a little speculation, but we try to keep it, keep it factual. All right, guys. I think I'm caught up with chat. Let's go ahead and jump back into it. Come on,
Going
Joseph.
head to head with numbers. Numbers always win in the end. All speculation, supposition, all of that stuff is out the window. When you have these specific scientific tiebacks, and as you had mentioned, we had suspected a sheath for a while. We heard about military-style knife. We heard somebody throw out a term, Rambo knife. We didn't know what the genesis of those terms were or where it was coming from. And we did, in fact, hear the term K-bar. We've talked about this for a while, and it is a specific knife. The thing about these types of knives, hunting or military style knives, most of the time you purchase these things with a sheath so that you can put it on your belt, all those sorts of things. The fact that it's adjacent, this DNA is recovered adjacent to the snap on it, which holds it in place, is significant. This goes back to a manufacturer, and it also.
And real quick, guys, fair use, gotta stop it. The next video we're watching, guys, is gonna be with CeCe More on the DNA. So we're gonna cover the DNA in this one. Like I said, we're gonna cover a little bit of everything. We're just gonna slowly peel away the layers before the trial.
This DNA ties back to him. It is incredible evidence. I didn't think we were going to have this much.
So I'm going to read portions of this affidavit because it literally came down 5-10 minutes ago. People have not heard it, so I'm going to read portions of it. This is very interesting. This is something that online sleuths were thinking once he was arrested. Did he make a Reddit post? Well, this is what we know based on the probable cause affidavit. Based on information provided on the WSU web.
Real quick, I think that's another thing people need to understand too, is probable cause affidavit, probable cause. So like I said, some of these people legitimately question his arrest, the legality of his arrest. It's insane. 1 second, guys, 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. But let's continue. It's gonna be way too long if I keep four-wheel driving like this.
Website, Washington State University. Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included graduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. He actually applied for an internship with the police department. Kohberger wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations.
Doesn't that sound like a little conceited, a little, narcissistic? I'm going to come out here and show y'all small town hits how to better do some stuff. That's what I'm going to help y'all with. That kid, get out of here.
Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found on an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to, quote, understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime.
Okay, okay. We gotta stop this because I'm seeing some good stuff in chat. Okay, so let's see what Criminal Matt's saying. Let's see. I think the sheath can be considered an extension of the weapon. If they can tag him to that, we don't really need the knife. I'm searching a bit as I never have seen. That's interesting. That is very interesting. And that's what I love about this community. I have some people in here that love to deep dive things, love to look at things very logically and want to understand, more than just what they're hearing from some talking head like me. So yes, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see what else we got. I think Pat Gaines. Look, without going into the weeds and four-wheel driving like I do, we know what I do. That statement right there, I agree with. Without getting too crazy into it, I agree with that. There's some level of psychopathy there. There's a lot. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a very complex combination of things. Definitely. Hey, Windy Wimp, good to see you, man. But hey, y'all, I know this ain't true crime related, but this lady right here creates some absolutely beautiful art. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You can ask her about it in chat if you're interested. She get down with that epoxy. It's pretty nice. Anyways, guys, I digress. Let's keep rolling.
There's been a lot of speculation about why someone like him would have done that. This is something that came early on. I want to go back to the discussion of the initial impressions from the surviving roommates, because I think that's really key. Again, we talked about the K-bar style knife. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers. They interviewed the two surviving roommates. And this is what we, and again, what they start off the probable cause affidavit, basically going through what we know already, the timeline of.
Yeah, KD, they did. I think they did searches in areas that they suspect his vehicle was in and he was in. I think there were general searches done for it, but they never found anything that we know of, right? Who knows? Dude, what if that's something that prosecution was hiding the whole time? What if prosecution's the one with some smoking gun on top of everything else we know right now? What if they have something else that's just that's it? That's it. I don't know, man. And then what I'm still baffled about is the defense's the weakest alibi ever, right? For a case this level, it's so high profile. People in other countries following this, and the alibi is I like to take night drives. It's just I can't. Yeah, see, me and Rogerland, we agree with you. Definitely. All right, guys, I'll continue.
Where Madison was, where Kaylee was, where Zana was, where Ethan was. But where it really gets interesting is the timeline of this. This is a lot later than we initially anticipated. So to give everybody an idea here.
Sorry to keep stopping it, yo. Huntress, don't worry about it, man. It's going to be a while. We're going to be here for a little bit. We got 3 videos to get through. We're only halfway through the first one, so it's good to see you. I know you was being a mom. Don't worry about being late. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Let's see. What was I going to respond to? He put him. There we go. There it was. Almost got sidetracked on that one. He put himself in the car alone, right? Dude. So you're going to tell me, bro, your defense is you like to do night drives by yourself. Nobody corroborated that story at all, right? besides the telematics and the digital footprint, that corroborates your story. But explain to me why your night drive turned into a night drive where you returned back to the same area of the crime the next morning, my guy. What the hell kind of alibi is that? Serious? You dead ass serious, bro? Oh, man. Sometimes I think defense is putting on a big show right now, right? So make it look like they're doing their best to defend this guy. But what if the trial comes and they're like, she's like, oh, I accidentally fumbled your death penalty case. My bad. Oops. We could have wishful thinking, right, guys? Wishful thinking. All right. Am I caught up in the chat? Let's see. Caught up in chat. All right, guys. Let's roll.
Here, I'm going to pull this up. We actually thought that the murders might have happened earlier. According to police, they believe the murders happened between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. I think that is a bit later than we originally said. I'm going to read more from the affidavit. DM, again, one of the roommates who survived, who was on the ground floor, stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves, Kaylee Gonsalves, playing with her.
Yo, sorry, guys. Fair use. Gotta stop it. And when good comments come up, might as well stop on the good comments, right? Check this out. So, and he just so happened to keep driving around the scene of the crime. He's a bonehead, Lo. What? Right. So what he likes to do is take night drives and just so happen to circle around areas where there was, a quadruple homicide. And, he just so happened to, at the end of his long night drive, he ended up showing back up at that same scene because that's his thing. That's his hobby to do. It's just coincidence, right? What the hell? Are you serious? Get the hell out of here. I could have came up with a better alibi. I swear. Oh, my Lord. You can't make this stuff up. Did I miss somebody? I think I just seen something. Ruby Joy, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let's see, what's Hunter saying? Yo, off topic, but you missed the biggest shit show last. I heard about it, Huntress. I'm going to go back. And I was told to go back and watch the last hour and a half of that live. And I will do that. I'm going to do that because, I'll fall asleep to some good comedy if nobody else has got anything on tonight. But I heard about it. Thank you for keeping me informed, Huntress. Thank you. You got to keep your ear to this YouTube streets and know what's going on, behind the scenes. So thank you. Let's see what else we got going on in chat. Thank you, Kate D, for hitting that like. Yeah, guys, hit that like if you haven't already. I appreciate it if you would. And if you haven't already shared this live, let people know we're out here talking about some stuff. They might want to come talk with us. Right? Roger, then 100%, the alibi fits into the crime. It doesn't disprove anything. It literally he's agreeing. I was there. Right? He's agreeing. I was there. 1 second, guys. I got a phone call. Let me see. All right. Cool. But serious. Alibi straight up saying, I was there, guys. I was there. But it's only because I like to take night drives. That's the only reason I was there. And it's just, I don't know, I just felt like my night drive wasn't long enough. So I just decided to go back to that same area because for no reason. It's just, don't ask questions. Don't. That's all you need to know. What else I got in chat? Exactly, dude. I agree. Criminal medicine. That's where. Apologize. That's where I'm at with all this. I love the psychology of it all. Right. That's what I'm in the true crime for. I love documentaries. I love watching trials unfold. I love watching cases unfold. I love the psychology though of it. So I see him in court. I see the same thing that you're stating right there. I see somebody that was prepared for this to happen. Right. I'm not saying he wanted it to happen. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that all was. There's some people have speculations that he planted the little drop of DNA or touch DNA, whatever it is, that this was all set up. He had this whole plan to get caught. I don't think that, but I do think that he had a game plan for once he did get caught and how he was going to deal with everything. 100%. Let's see. What else you guys saying in chat? Let's see. see. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up. That's what I think. I think that's a possibility, Pat Gaines. I think that's a possibility. Um, it's either one, he realized that he dropped the sheath, or two, he was doing what they all do, and I was like going back to see if like there's a police response, so he can get that, like I did that feeling, get that little rush. So it's that's a good question though. I had the same question. I still am undecided on it. It might be a little bit of both. He might have went back and was like, man, let's see if anybody's responded yet. And maybe he went back and just seen a little bit of movement from the kids. I don't know, and decided I'm not going in, I'm not risking it. Or potentially too, he could have showed up just to see if he might have dropped it on the outside of the house by where his car was parked. There's different options, but definitely it's questionable. Why'd you go back, buddy? Let me know in your alibi. Why don't you have that in your alibi covered, right? Why did you go back? I got questions, bro. I got questions, Mr. Kohberger. Sorry, guys. I got to catch up in this chat. Let's see. Just wondering. Yeah, I believe that too, Rogerland. I believe that he was looking. He was probably stunned that there wasn't first responders, but I have a feeling that it was both to see what was happening and to see if maybe he got lucky and could like spot the sheath. But who knows? Who knows? But definitely to see the aftermath of what he did is more than likely the main reason he went back. Let's see what else you guys got. Win, yeah. Honestly, Win. Seems like it. It seems like that might be one of many things that he's got going on. I don't feel like it's one thing. I feel like it's a combination of things that he has going on. All right. Let's see what else you guys are saying before we proceed. Let's see. Yep. See, we seem to, most of us seem to be on that same kind of wavelength. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I'm hoping at the end of all these lives, every time we do one of these lives, guys, I hope everybody that has questions that they're kind of stuck on, I hope when we come away from these lives that you like have a better idea of things. So if we can achieve that on these lives, that's like one of my goals. It's not just to entertain you guys with my nonsense, but for us to like really educate each other and like get a good idea of what's going on. Let's see what else we got. Right. I agree, KD. I agree. No, see, BM, that's another thing. Like, okay, BM. So I've heard Wi-Fi, I've heard Bluetooth. I I have to go back and find, I think, where Steve says it. I heard that people say that it got erased, but Wi-Fi, you could hit the Wi-Fi from a little bit farther distance, but if it's Bluetooth, you gotta be pretty close, pretty dang close. No, I agree with you. I think if you follow the story arc of him being a budding serial killer, then if that's the truth of the matter, if that's what he was on, then definitely that bothered him. Definitely. But let's proceed. Oh, then what? I appreciate Donna Clark. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all. You guys are always so sweet and encouraging. I appreciate it.
Dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which was located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said that she heard who she thought was Gonsalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could have also been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said that she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 11112.
And real quick before I lose my train of thought on it, it's like a lot of those could be rationalized. You know what I mean? Like you living in a party house, a college party house, right? In the middle of like a college town in the most popping area, you're constantly hearing people come in and out. You're probably hearing boyfriends and girlfriends fighting, probably hearing a lot of stuff. So it's like some of the stuff she heard, even if you were sober, you could probably rationalize, honestly, just wanting to mind your own business. But if you're under the influence of things, some things more than others, you could definitely rationalize the things that she heard. In my opinion, in my opinion. Right? I mean, I think it might be both, honestly, Roger Lynn. I think it was the sheath and to see if like what was popping, if they figured stuff out, if the police were there. So what else you guys got in chat? No, 100% criminal med. Like I'm telling you, if you haven't like listened to my whole working theory on the whole thing, like the things that you're saying line up with my thoughts. I feel like this is a serial killer story arc, and I feel like his whole genesis through life explains exactly why he did what he did, right? Like that's just what these monsters do. That's what these people with these certain make psychological makeup, right? That experiences certain variables in life. That's what they end up turning into, right? And there's different stimulus that cause it to happen. But like if you go back, like literally look at his whole storyline, it's a genesis of a serial killer. This perfect story arc, perfect storyline to be a serial killer, at least in my opinion. So I agree with you, criminal med, 100%. That's why a lot of these other speculations and crazy theories, I don't put a lot of weight in because I don't think gang stuff or drug stuff or any of that stuff makes sense. None of it really makes sense. I know that he had a drug addiction in the past, but I think that lends more to what happened to his mental makeup because heavy drug abuse will change you. It can definitely change you. And if you're already set up to be schizophrenic or sociopath or psychopath or whatever the case may be, heavy drug use, especially the type of stuff he was on, is going to exacerbate that. It's going to make it worse. And granted, guys, I'm saying this stuff as, hey, I'm just kind of like, an internet rogue scholar on all the psychology stuff. But if you look at it all and take that all into account, I feel like it's a serial killer story arc. And if you compare it to other serial killers in the past, it lines up. It matches up. All right, guys, I'll shut up. Let's get to the video.
King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. By the way, I'm going to continue, but you can see more of the evidence that we didn't know what was happening behind the scenes. This is a more detailed timeline than any of us could have imagined.
Real quick, the only support system I'm seeing for him is what's been provided by the state of Idaho. We hear rumblings from family, but there's not a whole lot of support. What I'm baffled by, I'm going to be honest, and I'm glad that you said this. What I'm baffled by is, dude, after this 48-hour special and kind of leading up to it, there's a bunch of people that don't think he's guilty, guys. There's a lot of people that are questioning his guilt. And I'm just like, what in the hell, y'all? Are you dead ass? Are you serious? How can you look at the affidavit, everything we know, right? You can question some processes, but how do you look at everything we do know and come to the conclusion that this dude is innocent? That is, bro, that's insane. And I can't be the only one that feels that way. I'm gonna tell you right now, I had to unsubscribe from a lot of people up to this point because of this case and a couple other cases. The way they followed it, I don't really appreciate the coverage. I don't think it's responsible. This right here, the stuff that I'm hearing coming out of creators' mouths, to me, it's ludicrous. I mean, that's just my opinion, guys. See what else you guys got up in chat. Let's see. Truth. Yeah, that's the thing, Pat Gaines. He reminds me of a lot of them. I really feel like he did his research. I feel like he fashioned himself after multiple serial killers. I think there's multiple ones. If you go and look at, I've been deep off of so many documentaries on so many of these guys. It's insane. But if that's why when I look at him, I just see it. But if you go back, it all makes sense. Yeah, no, like I said, Roger, I don't believe there's much besides these crazy YouTubers that all of a sudden think that he's innocent. It's insane. 100% BM. I believe so too. I know it, innocent until proven guilty, but hey, dude, we're here for true crime talk. True crime talk. We talking about everything that is true crime, all the details, and part of that is speculating because we get to do that, right? It's a free damn country. We pay taxes. We get to speculate. The criminal med, me and you are on the same wavelength, and I believe Roger would agree with you on that one too. Dead on. All right, I'll continue, guys.
DM stated she opened her door for the third time. She heard crying and saw a figure clad in black. And I went through that already about seeing this. Now, they go on to say that the combination of DM statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of a suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe that the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Now, this is also important. This is about latent shoe prints. I'm going to read that part. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black. This is a protein strand that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole. This was just outside the door of DN's bedroom, located on the second floor.
Bro, dude, that shoe print, man, had so many people hung up. Bro, oh my Lord. How many people recall the deep dives that were done by content creators? Like, how many y'all, like, comparing people's shoes and pictures? Like, trying to, like, imply, like, certain kids had done this because the latent shoe prints. Like, there's so many reasons that could be there. It's crazy. See, so when you believe he had help, there's a bunch of reasons why I don't think he had help. But hey, what if that's something that comes out that I don't know. I mean, you could be right. I don't know. I have a hard time with that one because think about all the things that have been leaked so far. If there was a co-conspirator or anybody involved, if they found Kohberger, they gonna find him. And I don't think Kohberger is the type to go down by himself. I don't think Kohberger is going to be the one to go by himself at all. I think a lot of people got hooked on a co-conspirator because he said when he got caught, am I the only one? And if you go back, there's other serial killers that have done that. So I feel like he was prepared to get caught. He didn't want to, but he was prepared. I just feel like if there was somebody else, that information would have leaked. I just feel like that. But hey, come trial time, might be wrong. That's the only way we're going to figure out, though, if there was somebody else involved, is if it comes out in trial. And if that don't come out in trial, it just lead to there wasn't anybody involved. So trial question, man, one of those ones that we got to have cameras in the trial for. I think, let's see, what else you guys saying? Thank you, BM. Y'all smash that like, smash that share. Let them know we out here. Let's see what else you guys got. right? No, see, that's the thing is like there's so many eerie similarities to other serial killers, the way that they did things, the way that they cased houses. I'm telling you guys, you know what I think I'm gonna do tomorrow. If I don't come across something else I want to cover on a live for tomorrow, what I'll do, guys, is there's a series um, where a detective interviews somebody that's on death row about what his thoughts are on the whole breakdown of this. And I think we'll react to it. We'll review and react to it. Fair use, baby. You know what I mean? And I think that'll generate a lot of good conversation. So we're going to do that in the near future because I want you guys to start looking at it, or at least see it. You don't have to look at it my way. I'm just saying, just see it from my direction. I feel like these interviews kind of break down. They break it down. It's hard to explain. We're definitely going to cover that, though. I digress.
This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022 in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspects or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed the numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with other officers, and they go on to say that. A review of camera footage indicated, and this is where that white Hyundai Elantra comes into play. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound.
Fair use, real quick. I gotta stop that, guys. I know we've already heard a bunch about the Elantra, but I want to get to these questions. So, criminal med. That's what I think. Like I said, you were around for live action. I had to study this stuff, right? And like I said, you study it and you look at the whole genesis of Kohberger, and it's too much. It's too much to deny, in my opinion. But we all get to have our opinions. 100% Pat Gaines. I think if you end up on my channel, you're probably pretty hardcore. Well, I'll continue. Let's continue this car crap.
On Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. At this point, they didn't know it was the vehicle that we now know, the white Hyundai Elantra. This is how they first were able to identify it. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. Remember the timeline of when they think these murders occurred. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood.
Real quick, guys. So it's like basically the alibi is conceding to the fact that that was his car. That was him. So to me, the alibi concedes that they agree that that was him, that the digital evidence that puts him in that area, that that's all true. That's what the alibi says, right? But it's like, I just got to go back to like, bro, you came back to that same area the next morning. It's the absolute worst alibi ever in the history of alibis. I really, honestly, guys, I'm starting to think the more I start prepping for this trial and going back and really deep diving it with you guys, and the more I'm watching the defense move, I know it sounds crazy. And this is about as crazy as my conspiracies are going to get. Is, damn, what do you guys think the chances are that defense intentionally fumbles this? What do you guys think? Do you think that's too crazy to think about? That maybe the defense is doing all this crazy rumbling, before the trial, and then come the trial time, like they know that they're screwed. Like the alibi is so weak, the evidence, circumstantial or not, is so strong and that's just going with what we know. What if she just is like, I did my best. Man, like I said, maybe that's just wishful thinking, but what if, guys? What if?
With a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the
It's
area
like,
during
nah.
hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Again, this is also important because remember, he is charged with first-degree murder. There is a level of premeditation and planning to this. Keep this in mind as we hear all this. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road.
So my boy can't drive. He can't whip the car around. They just inefficient at driving. Boy, we getting tickets, tailgating. We know Bryan Kohberger is a bad driver at this point. That's what we do know. But let me address this statement. There has to be some video that they have that is going to see him. It is gagged, so I think that they went for DP. I think it is all fireworks and mirrors. Hey, criminal med, like me and you are on the same wavelength right now. We are on the same wavelength, 100%. I believe that might be one of those smoking gun situations because they're going for the death penalty, right? So it's like, you got to be solid. You got to be solid beyond this DNA stuff, right? Beyond the circumstantial. So if not only do we have the video of his car in the area, his alibi is admitting to that is him, pretty much, right? That's what the alibi is admitting to. He likes some night drives. Yo, like, they have a video of him physically out of the vehicle, either coming to or leaving or whatever the case may be. They have him on video. Yo, that is a freaking wrap, guys. That debunks the alibi completely, which is already weak as hell. Got so more holes than a colander, right? It'd be a wrap, dude. And I honestly, I'm praying. I'm hoping that's the case. That would be awesome. Nah, that's what I'm saying too, right? Criminal man, there's too many damn ring cameras. Like, we living in a nanny state now. Every movement is. I agree. What else you guys saying? God, I love this chat. You guys are so smart. Let's see. I agree. I feel like the video, all the digital stuff is, like I said, it's all circumstantial, whatever, whatnot. But like, yo, you look at it all together and it paints that picture. I don't feel like at this point they're going to find a jury dumb enough to not be able to see that picture, especially if the prosecution does a good enough job laying it all out. And so far, I mean, we haven't even had it laid out real perfect, and we most of us can see what's happening. What else are you guys saying? I'm sorry, Huntress. Yeah, I got the video volume maxed out. I got it maxed out. I know. Trust me, man. Is the more this channel grows, the more I'll try to invest in things that help with audio and whatnot. We're doing baby steps. Baby steps. Tech and DNA. Okay, what? Let me catch up. Let's tech videos. Yep, we have no idea what they all have. We don't. We don't. Total pick, right? Exactly, criminal man. It's like, check it out. We've only seen the frame, but from just the frame, just the damn frame alone, it kind of tells you what the picture's going to be about. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. The style alone. Let's see. Tennessee sweetheart, good to see you. Good to see you, ma'am. Let me see what you just said. You always are on top of stuff, Tennessee sweetheart, I swear. You are a true crime sleuth, a true crime junkie. She said something in an interview. Footage. Yo, okay, so that, man, if they have footage like that too, like that close, they have to have footage of him. They have to, guys. At least I think they do. You would think. Thank you, though. Thank you, Hunters, for keeping me on point, though. I appreciate it. I have the best mods in the game. I'm not even 1,000 subscriber channel. I got the best mods in the game already. Best community, best mods. You guys rock. Let's see what else you guys. What else you guys saying? That's true. We don't know the quality of it. But dang, if we can only imagine that it's something similar to what they've already shown us, like if they have like even 50% of what they've already showed us to add to what we have now, it's a lot. What are you guys saying? I see laughing faces. Hey, Sam, good to see you. All right, I think I'm caught up in chat. I think. All right, let's go.
The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles.
Okay, Jesse Weber, hold your thought there. I'm just going to say before I forget, one, that drive, I believe the drive is where he got rid of the weapon and the clothes and all that stuff, the kit. I believe that's the drive. But let me jump over to this statement. Tennessee Sweetheart says, I think that is going to be one of the most impressive camera footage is the ring camera directly across the street that show Maddie and Kaylee getting home. Yeah, there's no telling what else, right, that's going to show. But definitely that one. And there's no telling what other ones, right? What other camera footage they got. Because of the gag order. We just don't know. Damn, I can't wait for this trial. I swear, guys, I'm going to be so upset if they don't have cameras in there. Yeah, I'm going to boycott the trial. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to quit, dude. I'm going to quit the whole Idaho. I'm going to boycott. I'm just like, it's not even existing. I'm going to cover everything else on the planet. Dead ass. Okay, I'm lying. But I'll be mad, though. I'm going to be mad. Ooh, that's a good point, too. Not just, visual, but audio. Definitely. There's so much, guys. I know it. I know there's going to be so much that comes out that's going to be like, oh, I knew it. Or, oh, that makes sense. Or, damn, dude, why didn't I think about that? There's going to be a lot. I know it. Okay, there you go. Man, I'm telling you, I got the best community. You guys are on top of everything. On top of everything. I was so excited for this live for this reason. I was. All right, let's try to finish this video. We got 2 more to go, guys.
Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. We talked about this before when he was ultimately apprehended, the connection, the geographical distance between his university and where these murders occurred. I'm going to continue on. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilizes surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of these unknown vehicles. The forensics examiner, and they go into the forensics examiner's background and experience. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensics examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011-2013 Hyundai Elantra, but upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011-2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle of this type. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University WSU campus. This is how they were able to connect the car to Kohberger. If we have some more time, I'd like to get into it before we take our break. So let me do this real quick. Okay, so we're not going to take breaks. I'm going to continue to go forward with this. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, a white sedan.
Yeah, okay, so basically, let's just cover the fact that we all know who reported it, right? At apologize, guys, apologize. Let me get to the next video. But we know who reported it at, the Washington State University, right? It was a security guard, right? Who reported it? Check this out, dude. Check this out. Every one of these conspiracy theories that have come out, all this crazy nonsense, you ever notice how the story is put together with facts that are already well known? So the whole security guard thing, right? So we found out early on that we believed it was a security guard there that reported that, hey, there's this car that is here. That's how they kind of like came to that exact car, Kohberger's car. So people took that information, right? And later after he was apprehended, this and that, they post like they're his sister online, trying to put together this crazy story that he was hanging out with that security guard and that they were doing some illicit, substances, and that the security guard started peeping on the girl, so Kohberger left him, and this and that. Bro, you guys realize that people still believe that? People still believe that. It's like nobody's really put it together that all the crazy conspiracy theories that is surrounding this case, all the crazy rabbit holes are made with after the fact information. It's like trolls trolling to the max, and people are actually buying it. And not just subscribers, people that view content, but actual content creators that are actually buying these stories. Like it's insane to me, guys. It's insane. But yeah, there's not one of these conspiracy theory angles that I've looked at where I'm like, that's kind of plausible. No, I look at it and I'm like, oh, dude, well, you came up with that after we already knew about this. So yeah, you just put the damn story together. I don't know, guys. It's crazy. And then I don't know if you guys noticed too. You guys heard about the Papa Roger stuff popping off again, right? Yo, I'm telling you, the trolling level on this case is elite. For as big as this case is, it has attracted trolls just as big. And man, they have literally muddied the water so bad, and they have caused other content creators to look like fools. It is insane, guys. I don't know what your guys' take is on that, but man, these trolls have run amok. What are you guys saying in chat? 100% Tennessee sweetheart, and that's what I want to do. Is we want to refresh before the trial gets here. When it eventually gets here, we want to be totally on point and remember everything, so we have a better idea what's going to happen. So how do you think he avoided blood, DNA evidence in his vehicle? I believe he wore cheap clothes, plastic tarps in his car. Okay, so criminal med, me and Rogerland both have a similar theory, and that's that we believe he wore some type of one-piece suit, right? Like some overalls, coveralls, some type of work stuff. More than likely, it was, waterproof, mask, gloves, whatnot, right? But out of this car, either had a big bag or a tote that he was able to disrobe that stuff off into, keep everything contained to that, all the DNA contained to that, probably have wipe, who knows what else. But it'd be pretty easy. And then you got to think, too, the amount of time from the murders to the time that he got caught. How many times was that car detailed? I mean, in and out. I mean, he was caught detailing it at Mama and Pop's. So that's just my opinion, my speculation on that. Let's see. Pat Gaines. Yep. All right, guys. Let's see. Everybody can just use the plastic tote. Yeah, like what Rogerland's saying. That's part of my working theory too. I was with like a bag, like maybe a big black trash bag or something, one of those heavy duty ones. But Rogerland, when he told me his theory on it, I was like, dang, that's pretty good. A tote. I mean, have a tote waiting right at your car. You can step in the tote, disrobe everything into the tote, cover the tote, literally take off. I mean, it makes sense. It seems pretty rational. Man, good conversation in the chat today, guys. Good conversation. I'm loving it. We're missing a couple people. We do have a couple of our comedians. They're missing, but all in all, this chat is fire tonight, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Since like, yep. See, we all kicking around ideas. I think we're all kind of formulating better, concise idea of what happened. I mean, yeah, BM definitely the kill kit. I mean, technically, that's part of it. Would be either a bag or a tote to disrobe your gear into. That would be part of it, definitely. Carson, little dumpling, yo, like, where's she at? Where is she at? That's what I'm saying. Where's the old Carson at? She'll probably be in a mama. That's cool. Yep. And that's the thing too that baffles me is like I could think of so many different variables and situations that would keep the DNA out of the car. But there's people that are stuck on that. They're dead ass stuck on it. They're like, there is no way that you could go in, do what he did, and leave with no DNA on you to the point where you don't even transfer any to the car. What are you talking about, bro? You can literally go into a house with the right gear, sling paint for 8 to 12 hours, come out of there, peel off that right gear, step into your vehicle without a touch of paint. So if that's possible, I think you could do the same thing with bodily fluids. I'm just saying, guys, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Right? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I know that it's been a while since I listened to the whole rundown on that list, but that's a good question. Oh, you messaged her, no answer. Thank you, BM. I appreciate your messenger. It's cool though. Um, some of my mods, man, some of my mods are moms. So you know what I mean? That is what it is. And some of my mods are not only moms, they're content creators themselves. So they're doing their research. So sometimes they just can't be here. And I completely understand that. Completely understand it. That's why, that's why I appreciate you guys being here. Because I know a lot of people have a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of places you could be on these YouTube streets, but y'all chose to be here. So I appreciate you. Much love, y'all. What else y'all say? Let's see. Thank you, Tennessee sweetheart. Thank you. That is why I like your chat. Free thinking opinions without being booted because you don't agree with their thinking. Hey, 100, that's adult. That's how you be. That's how to be an adult, right? Like, I come from like other genres where there's heavy debate, and you got to be able to debate very intensely without taking it personal, and without kicking people out or getting all twisted. So that's how I want to hear. I want everybody to be able to openly discuss it, debate it, like put their opinions out there, and never feel like you can't speak here. You can. You don't have to kick it in the bushes at all. You come in here and you speak your piece, and if things start getting out of control too, like I monitor chat, my mods monitor chat, so things will stay respectful. I appreciate that though, Tennessee. Criminal Med, I know, right? I should pull that up and we should look over it again. Maybe we'll do that on one of the upcoming ones because, like I said, we're going to cover some stuff. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, Tennessee. I knew what you meant. Yo, and this would be the man too that would probably remember. But maybe we should all like cover that. Maybe I'll cover that in the live. We'll go over it again. Yeah, it looks like the general consensus is that you guys would definitely be down to review it. So I'm gonna have to find that and get it ready for y'all. We'll do a live on it. Sounds good. No, Tennessee. That's why. Yeah, that's why I've ended up where I'm at. That's why I follow some of the people that I follow. Is I feel like I can go in their chats and give my opinions freely, and not just my opinions freely. I get to joke around, and I have to have that atmosphere. If you don't have the atmosphere, I reel in your chat, and if the conversation's low IQ, or I don't feel like I can give my opinion without being kicked out, blocked, whatever, I can't get down with it, man. I need some adults around. I've already raised enough children. You know what I mean? I don't need more children. 100% Pat Gaines. 100%. All right, guys. All right. I know we're rolling into a little bit. Like I said, it was going to be a long live, but let's go ahead and jump over to this next video. This next video is a CNN video. It is with, we're going to chop up the DNA, right? We're going to jump over the DNA. I know we talked about a lot of different stuff to this point. Well, let's get over the DNA. We're going to touch on a little bit. It's just a little precursor because I'm trying to find a good video with CeCe More that isn't too long or drawn out or boring that we can review and react to, because she has other interviews where she breaks it down even better than she's going to do here. So this is just going to be a little touch of what we're going to end up really deep diving later. Okay, so let's jump into it.
The DNA will get you every time.
One's in chat as well. One's in chat if you guys can hear it. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
It's how the suspect in the mid-November stabbing deaths of 4 Idaho students was finally tracked down and arrested. That's what we learned when the affidavit of probable cause was unsealed in Idaho court this week. Investigators had found a leather knife sheath on the bed of one of the victims. They found a DNA sample on the button of the sheath. This and the cell phone records tracing his whereabouts capped the many weeks-long investigation that included narrowing down which white Hyundai Elantra had been captured on videos in the neighborhood of the house where the killings took place. A Washington State University officer then located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra in an apartment complex parking lot. The owner's driver's license information and photograph were consistent with a surviving roommate's description of the masked suspect's height and build and bushy eyebrows. Additionally, 5 days after the murders, the suspect had obtained a new license plate for his car. The car was located at the suspect's family.
All right. So, I mean, I know it's reiterating some stuff we already heard, but fair use, got to stop it anyways. And what's this, Sam? What are you talking about? What you saying? Let's see. Do y'all notice BK always has his hands in the steeple position in court, which is usually seen in highly confident people? I'm thinking he does it on purpose. No, Sam, 100%. That statement right there, I'm telling you guys, like, those are the psychology, man, the body posture, the body language. That's the stuff I'm really into. And you're dead on, Sam. Like, there's reasons why I believe he's got the mindset that he does. And that I don't feel like when I'm looking at this guy, I don't feel like I'm looking at somebody that's innocent, that's fighting for their life. I feel like I'm looking at somebody that is a straight next level demon who is prepared for the inevitable capture. And now he's in the phase of the capture and survival of his whole game. And he's confident. He's definitely confident. He's smart. He's intelligent. I should take back the smart. He's intelligent, right? So obviously a narcissist. To look at his psychology from coming up to this point, it's just I agree with that so much. He is definitely coming into court confident, but it's not how an innocent man carries himself. Somebody that's accused of quadruple homicide, in my opinion. I digress. I'm sorry, guys. 4-wheel drive, baby. What else you guys saying? Okay, so you guys are with me, right? You guys are with me on this. What he is, dude. Seriously, he feels he's rocking it. Like, I'm telling you, he didn't want to get caught, guys, but he was prepared for when he did, because it's the whole story arc. It's too perfect. You couldn't write this as a script like any better. Like, this is on point. Tennessee sweetheart, 100%. 100%. That's why I say, like, he's fashioned himself after multiple serial killers. It's just so many reminders of so many other ones in him. But, like, the arrogance, just the swagger, he has that just confidence coming into court of somebody of, like, I did it, but I'm about to beat this, right? He doesn't walk into court like, I can't believe I'm going through this. I'm innocent. I'm freaking out inside. I probably need to be medicated. No, none of that. Think about how many school shooters or mass shooters, right? We see them in court and they're medicated, right? Just medicated. Totally different demeanor, right? This dude, no medicated. He's not medicated. He's walking in court 100% sober and confident that he's going to get away with this in his mind. That's what I get. And it looks like most of you guys get the same feel. Yo, his mom was a serial killer fan. She was a serial killer fan. She was a supporter. It was one of, I can't remember either off the top of my head, but that's fact. That is fact. Well, that's true. To a level, right? They all think they can. Definitely. I would agree with that. Even though it's like, it's out of hubris and ignorance, most of them, right? Because they must think they can get away with it to do it, because why would you do something not believing that you could get away with it? Yo, right? Okay, so I will give him that. He is suited. He is suited. Dude, Tennessee. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I wanted to bring that up. Dude, I got to start writing. Okay, so I do most of my bullet points. I usually have most of it down, but throughout the day, there'll be certain things I think about that I don't have a notepad around for, or I got to start taking some digital notes, because that's a good point. That is such a good point. I thought about that too. Nobody has heard him say he's innocent. He said he is eager to be exonerated, right? But that's not saying I'm innocent or I'm guilty. That's saying I'm eager to be exonerated, which means he's eager to prove that he could beat this rap, that he could beat it. That's what. Perfect. And I agree, hindsight's 100%. This is all planned. Here's another thing, okay, guys. Here's another thing while we're on it, right? He he's athletic. He's had some experience with martial arts. He did the training, like, he wanted to become an officer. He wanted to do all this stuff. This dude could run 7 miles in a clip. I could do 7 miles when I'm training for comps, or if I'm going to train to go do a 5K or something with my buddy. But I got to train for it. And to do 7 miles, like that's your just standard run, you're in shape. Your wind is good. So let's say we have this guy, he's in his prime, he's in shape, he's got endurance, he knows a little bit of combat, right? And let's not forget, reports say he's good with the blade, right? For me, it does not seem like a stretch that he could have did this. I just had to get onto that. It's one of those things that drive me crazy. A lot of people say, like, he couldn't do this. There's no way. He couldn't do it by himself. Bro, he could have definitely did it by himself.
Residents in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. CNN has reported he was under surveillance and he was seen cleaning his car inside and out using surgical gloves and depositing trash.
Yo, that's what the Tennessee. Exactly. That's another one of those reasons why I'm like, this dude fashioned himself after so many of them. He took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and he's like, all right, my story arc is going to be bigger than all of them because I'm going to do everything they all did. And it's going to be in my story arc, and I'm going to be the best there ever was. He's like a hybrid SK, right? He's got like all the motives the prior ones in the past had, but he's like technologically savvy, and he has like all these people to reference and study from. It's just, man, that's where I'm at. It's a serial killer story arc, in my opinion. Let's see what else you guys saying. Y'all are on fire tonight, man. Chat, you guys are on fire. Yeah, same criminal med. I agree with that statement. I definitely agree with that statement. Yo, Irish Badass, good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, I got you. Play on words, Joe. Play on words. But for real, the whole point of it was he's never admitted to anything, whether he was guilty or he was innocent. Like, just none. He didn't even at court, he didn't say. The judge had to put it in for him. He's a tricky one. He's a tricky one. But let's continue.
Trash in the wee hours in a neighbor's garbage can. On December 27, Pennsylvania law enforcement discovered that trash and sent it to the Idaho State Lab for DNA testing. The very next day, the lab was able.
Tell me you're guilty without telling me you're guilty. I'm gonna clean my vehicle and take other trash that has my DNA on it, and I'm gonna discard it in my neighbor's trash bin because that's a normal behavior. Yeah, that's normal. That's as normal as night drives circling murder scenes and returning the next morning. It's as normal as that. It is just as normal. What are you guys saying in chat? Okay. Found that interesting. Right, Irish badass. No, I agree too. I agree. That's why I believe he's a hybrid. He's like a super SK, right? Super serial killer, one of these new breeds, because he researched prior individuals that did this. He fashioned himself in the best ways. He took all the best strategies and tactics, right, from their lives, from their stories, and then he added on, right, technological savvy and like his whole masters. Like, bro, he went and studied from probably the best person you could study under if you were wanting to do what he did, right? If that was your whole game plan, you could have picked a better route. Like I'm telling you guys, this story arc, this whole storyline, for me, you could have written a better script for a movie. What else you guys saying? Let's see. Exactly, Tennessee sweetheart. That's what I'm saying too. Is like the way he carries himself in court. He doesn't carry himself like somebody that's innocent and that's being held and being tried for murder for students, college students. He just does not. That's not the vibe he gives off. He gives off the vibe of like, yo, I didn't really want to get caught, but I was prepared for this. Give it your best shot, guys. I'm smarter than y'all. Like, just that's the vibe, man. It's just the vibe. Y'all are on point, man. All these comments are so fire tonight. Good conversation, guys. I appreciate y'all. I really do. You guys rock.
Able to match a DNA profile obtained from the trash as all but assured as being from the biological father to a person whose DNA was found on the knife sheath. As the document states, at least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Joining me now is CeCe More, head of genetic genealogy services for Parabon Nanolabs Law Enforcement Unit, which has made more than 200 successful identifications of violent criminals. She's not worked the Idaho case. She stars in the documentary series The Genetic Detective, now streaming on ABC, and she has worked on all 10 seasons of the PBS television documentary series Finding Your Roots with Henry Louis Gates Jr. CeCe, thank you for being.
All right, before CeCe gets cracking, one shout out to Fox for putting me on to CeCe More. I've listened to some of her stuff now, and she's pretty damn smart, guys. She's pretty damn smart. So this ain't no trigger warning. This is you know what I mean? If big words hurt you, be prepared, yo. She's smart. So some of her stuff, I think she does a good job though breaking it down, honestly, for the layman. But this is a little taste of the DNA stuff we're gonna get into. Thank you, Fox, though, for recommending this.
Here, what does this mean? Single source of male DNA, which I'm reading from the affidavit.
It means there were no other DNA detected on that, meaning sometimes you can have a mixture. You can have multiple people's DNA. You want to have single source DNA if at all possible, because that really just ties that one person to that item. Now, it was likely that this was touch DNA. Certainly it's possible there was blood.
Real quick, guys, that's like a factor, right? This is single source. This is single source DNA. So, man, it really narrows things down for us. So I think a lot of people are forgetting that the type of DNA we got. My theory too with that whole thing is I do believe he wiped that whole sheet down. I do believe that was part of preparation, but he missed that one little inside of that snap. I think that's the saving grace for these victims. But yeah, I digress on that. Let's see what Tennessee said. Yeah, no, Tennessee, exactly. A lot of people are like, they're going hard on the DNA stuff, right? Trying to say like, like this ain't, it's not a big deal. And it's not so much as a big deal for the whole overall trial, but definitely leading us to the suspect, getting the guy in custody, it was huge. But now at this point, we have him in custody and we have so much other circumstantial evidence that I don't believe the DNA is that big of a deal. But I only say that preparing myself mentally and emotionally for the DNA part to be thrown out, just in case, you know what I mean? So I'm preparing myself for that. But yeah, it was huge for the arrest. We had to have it for the arrest, and a lot of people are questioning that. There's big content creators, medium-sized content creators that are questioning the legality of the arrest, thinking that the DNA and the circumstantial evidence they have wasn't enough for arrest. And I think that's absolutely asinine. But that's just my opinion.
Didn't tell us what type of DNA, but most likely it was touch DNA. And that would typically be just a few skin cells.
100%.
This might have been a very small amount of DNA, but because of today's technological advances, we can detect even the tiniest bit of DNA.
How reliable is touch DNA if it is skin cells in comparison to, say, blood?
It's a great question. It is more transferable. So of course you would like to have blood, you would like to have semen or saliva, and they might, they haven't shown all their cards. We don't know all that they have, but touch DNA now.
Tennessee sweetheart, I know, right? I get that. But even with that being said, some people were questioning the fact that it wasn't verified his DNA before that point, right? That it wasn't like, it's just weird, dude. Like the things that I'm hearing people say after this 48 hours came out, like people going back, there's people that are sympathizing for Kohberger, and it's blowing my mind. I digress.
That
My
we
bad.
can use it because of the sensitivity of our equipment. It also means you have to be more cautious about using DNA as your only evidence. So it's a really positive thing that they clearly have other evidence. This is just one piece of it. We have seen touch DNA transfer in other cases. Of course, it's fairly rare, but it is something that you have to be aware of and make sure that there are other aspects of the case also pointing at the same person.
CeCe, good news, I guess. It's hard to commit murder without leaving something behind.
That's right. Yeah, I've been saying this for weeks. That type of violent, intimate crime, it is virtually impossible not to leave something behind, even if you are a criminology PhD student. So I am not at all surprised they were able to find something. Even if he tried hard not to leave something, you still would. And that is great news, because what it means is that anyone who perpetrates this type of crime in the future should be aware that they will be identified. They will be caught. There really is no reason that we should see serial killers, serial rapists moving forward. This guy, potentially could have become a Ted Bundy or even a Zodiac, not identified 50 years later. But because of the DNA technology, the advances that we're seeing, both in investigative genetic genealogy and the ability to use tiny amounts of DNA, we can identify someone, whether they are in the law enforcement database or not.
So it seems like her mindset's on that serial killer story arc too. Like the fact that she mentioned those like that wasn't like she mentioned just somebody that had committed a homicide in the past and ended up getting caught later, but she literally referenced serial killers. So it seems like most people like in the professional realm are leaning towards like this dude, if he didn't do it before, which I think he may have already unalived somebody before, they think that he was going to proceed to more and more victims. And like I said, obviously, I agree completely with that.
CeCe, the cases that you have cracked for which you have become famous are the cases that necessitate you putting together in connection with a private lab, a very complicated family history, family tree, and tracing back cousins and generations. That doesn't seem to be what took place here.
Well, I don't think we can reach that conclusion yet. Investigative genetic genealogy is simply a tip. It's a lead generator. It should never be used as evidence against a suspect. And so it is proper that it would have been left out of the affidavit, in my opinion, because it should not form the basis of an arrest warrant. And so even though they didn't put it in there, I don't think we can rule it out. We don't know whether it was what initially identified him as a person of interest, and then they looked more closely at that tip about the car, or it could have gone the other way.
Real quick, let me address these statements real quick here. Also think prosecution has much more not to depend on touch DNA for death penalty. I agree, Tennessee, 100%. I agree with that. I feel like the DNA got us there, but all the other circumstantial evidence is what's going to put them away. I have that same feeling that there's more. That I feel like there's a smoking gun on prosecution side. Let's see, criminal man. What did you say here? Let's see. They have a full picture and it is not pretty. Hence the gag order and weird theorist. What? Man, I agree with you. Oh my God, dude. See, I have such a hard time with this case because all of your guys' comments, there's certain things that you guys are saying that makes me want to go into other tangents and go off-roading. But I got to keep it on the road. I got to stop the four-wheel driving. We're going to be here for freaking 6 hours if I keep going off-road. Let's see. What did you say, Tennessee? I think he has done it before and got away with it. That is why he thought he would get away with this. I agree with you. I'll be bold in my statement. I know a lot of content creators won't be bold in their statements, but I agree with that. I actually do believe that he's done this before. I do. I agree. But that's the thing. Criminal man. I agree with that statement, but that's a typical narcissist, right? I mean, he's definitely on that narcissistic spectrum. I know there's other things that I believe that are compounded in that psychology, but he's definitely a narcissist. He thinks he is hot shit, and he thinks that he covered all his bases, but he's absolutely wrong. And what's crazy is for how well that he prepared to do this. And I mean, for the most part, if you think about it, had that DNA not been there, there's a good chance we may have never figured him out, who he was. So, all in all, I don't know, man. I digress, you guys. Let's just keep going the video, or I'm going to keep getting off
Where
the
they
weeds.
identified him through that tip about the car. And at the same time, they were working on the genetic genealogy and may have built his family tree to see if it was consistent with what they were seeing. I have done that in some cases. If there are persons of interest, you can very quickly rule them out or potentially not be able to exclude them, which is what would have happened in this case. Maybe they could have connected him to one or more of those matches, maybe a second, third, fourth cousin.
Yo, the thing about this too, guys, is like, had the sheath not come out of his jumps, wherever he had it on his person, had that sheath not popped out, had he not missed cleaning that sheath off, and had he not missed that little portion of DNA, right? I'm telling you, we would not be here. We wouldn't be here because all we had outside of that, right, is video of his car, some digital footprint evidence, right? And what came first? What really came first? We had the car, right? But we had no real license plate. We had nothing. We don't know who was in it. The only way we came to an identity was that damn DNA. So imagine this, man. If that sheath wouldn't have fell out, if he wouldn't have missed that DNA, we would have never known who he was. He would have went on to kill. That's just my opinion.
And said, look, this is somebody who is a strong person of interest. So I think there's still a lot for us to learn on what happened here. I do think it is highly likely that an advanced private outside lab was used, at least somehow in this case. you know, we've all been hearing whispers of this. There's been lots of leaks that investigative genetic genealogy was used. So I do
Right.
think that they were at least trying to, or in the process of doing so.
And you make a great point. They of course don't have to put in this affidavit of probable cause. They, the prosecutors, all that they have. CeCe More, that was tremendous. I thank you as always.
Yo, CeCe rocks, man. I'm glad that once again, Fox, thanks for putting me on to CeCe More. Absolutely awesome. I like the way she breaks stuff down. But we're gonna be covering I think it's like an hour and a half interview with her. We're gonna do that on a live. We're gonna deep dive this DNA stuff. Even though I know it's not critical to the case, I just want us all to have a better understanding of it, not just for this case, this upcoming trial, but for others in the future. But let's queue up the next video. But before we jump into this next video, let me see what y'all are saying in chat. Get back into that. Yo, that's a good question, Criminal Med. I wondered the same thing. I don't think he tried to get back in, but he came back to the area. We know he came back to the area. He probably cruised around and like visually scoped like, where he was parked or the area that he walked to see if maybe he dropped it. I don't think he went back in the house. That would have been pretty bold of him. Mav Investigates. Good to see you, sir. Good to have you here. Hope you feeling all right, brother. Hope you feeling all right. So let's see what else we got in chat. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Tennessee, I think he went back for two reasons. I think he went back to really see if things were popping off yet. And then he probably also went back hoping that maybe by some chance that he had dropped that sheath walking to the car or by the car, or when he was taking his gear off into that bag or that tow, whatever he used, in my opinion. Just saying. Let's see. What else we got? Criminal Meth. But if Bethany saw him on return and not at 4. Now, okay, so if Bethany saw anything, that would make more sense that she saw him when he returned later. That would make more sense. That would make a lot more sense because obviously at that point it's later in the morning. That would be the only time that it would make sense for her to see it, given the affidavit and what we know right now. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so it seems like most of us believe that either came back to see the chaos or to get the nice sheep or both. So, all right, guys. So this next video is going to be a little bit on the defense accusing the FBI of tampering, right? Of the witness tampering. And the first part of this little, I don't know, it's like a little special by Court TV. And they talk about the importance of transparency too. So let's just go ahead and get into this. I found it was pretty decent and it touched on some of the stuff. And it's one of the more recent things that I want to touch on because a lot of people, are freaking out over this whole FBI stuff, trying to like imply that the FBI is manipulating the situation, but that's not the case, guys. It really isn't. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. Let me know once in the chat if you guys can hear.
It is the highest profile true crime case in the nation. November 13th, 2022. The brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students. But many of the details and legal filings are sealed and hidden from the public. And now that the case has been brought into a public courtroom,
appreciate you, brother.
Information about exactly what happened has become less public. The accused mass murderer denies being involved and claims to have an alibi. He also claims the grand jury process was unfair and the prosecutor committed misconduct. But that's all we know. The details of those allegations, like so much.
Well said. That's all we know, bro. Damn, you know what I mean? I wish we knew more. That statement hit me. That's all we know. Fuck, man, that is the problem.
Much of this case have been shielded from the community.
BM, thank you. See you.
The same community that was put into a state of complete shock and fear after the murders happened. The same community that pulled together to find leads and share information with investigators to help catch an alleged killer. So now the question is, will the public get to see and hear what happens in the public courtroom during this public trial? Tonight, we assess the state of this case.
Yo, real quick, guys. I heard the next hearing that they have, they're already trying to keep the cameras up. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I got to get some verification on that. But that's what I was hearing on the YouTube streets, was that this next hearing, defense and prosecution are trying to get the cameras out of that hearing. That's insane. I don't like the feeling that I'm getting about this whole camera situation.
The state of the evidence and the state of the victims' families who have suffered more than anyone through all of this as we investigate the Idaho students' murder case and trial.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. It's a huge case. It's the biggest case that we have. But I want everyone to understand as we begin this hour tonight that our courtrooms are public. Okay? You, me, anyone. You can go down to your local courthouse, federal courthouse, regular state courthouse, and walk into courtrooms and see what's happening. I mean, they're ours. They belong to us. They don't belong to the judge. They don't belong to a prosecutor. They don't belong to the lawyers. They don't belong to the sheriff. They belong to us, we the people. It's our government. It's a branch of government. It's ours. It belongs to us.
Preach, brother. Let me get to this chat, though. Fair use, guys. We got to stop it. I know it sucks. I hate having to stop it. I hate having to stop it and interject my thoughts and opinions and, make y'all laugh and whatnot. I hate it. It just kills me. But let's see what Tennessee said. He don't want them in there because he don't want to be none of these people want to be analyzed. They don't want to be analyzed like that. They don't want the whole world watching them. Most human beings lack accountability anymore. So it's like nobody wants to be held under that spotlight. Let's see what else you guys saying. Yeah, 100%. The family obviously wants cameras there. The family wants to know what the hell happened to their kids. The families want to know. They don't know. I mean, don't even want to get into it, dude. I don't even know how those parents are holding together. So you think the judge has ruled no cameras on the next hearing? It's BS, man. It's BS, man. This judge is really pissing me off, guys. I'm not liking this judge right now. But all right, guys, I think I mean, it's the only way we're gonna get transparency if we have the cameras. We have to have the cameras full transparency. Just today's age, if it's not on camera, it didn't happen, right? So we gotta have it. We gotta have it. I don't want second or third hand information from freaking news reporters that are gonna spin narratives on their beliefs. I don't want that. I don't. I know none of you guys want it either. 100% well said to the CeCe More, sweetheart. He is not one of the victims. It should be up to the families. Agreed. And the families want cameras. So this judge needs to get with it. No, I know it's only the next hearing, though, but the fact that they're already setting a precedent with this. By doing this at the next hearing, they're already setting a precedent for the decision I believe the judge is going to end up making. And like I told you guys in the last live, I feel like this judge is kicking the can down the road so that when he finally says no cameras are going to be at the trial's right there, and he doesn't have to take heat for months before the trial pops off, or weeks, or however much time. So I don't think we're going to get cameras, guys. I'm kind of mad about it. I'm not even kind of mad. I'm pretty pissed about it. And I'm kind of in denial about it. But at the same time, I'm trying to be rational. And with the way that judge was acting on the last hearing, and the fact that he's going to ban cameras at this next hearing, I just feel like it sets a precedent for the decision he's ended up making. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. But that's what I'm feeling. What else do you guys got? What else do you guys say in the chat? That's what I'm saying. Have the court set the cameras up. Just focus at one spot. They don't move. That's it. And hell, put the people operating the cameras, the camera feed, put them in another room. Operate a remote. I don't know. Like, figure it out, but it needs to be there. Yeah, I'm not impressed with this judge either, man. Why couldn't we get a judge like Judge Newman? You know what I mean? I wish we had Judge Newman. I know it's a whole different state, but dude, if we could have somebody like him, it would rock. All right, guys, I'll continue this video.
Now, one of the reasons that Court TV is able to get cameras inside courtrooms because many states believe, like I do, that courtrooms are public, but not everyone can get down there. Some people have jobs. Some people just can't make it there.
Exactly.
And what the cameras do is allow the public to see what is happening in our government.
Our government don't like that
That's
anymore.
it. Our cameras become your eyes and ears. Our cameras replace you getting in the car or getting in a plane or getting on a bus or getting on a train and heading down to your local courthouse to see what's happening.
Quick fair use stop one. I like this guy. This dude's preaching. Well, I like what he's saying. Tennessee sweetheart, 100%. Love me some Judge Newman. He's the man. I love that dude. I love that guy. Well, let's see what else we got. I know, Pat Gaines. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm completely reading the situation wrong. I really do, guys. I hope that I misread the judge in this last hearing. I hope that this whole banning the cameras at this upcoming hearing is not foreshadowing of his decision he's going to end up making. I really hope I'm wrong about it all. I hope we're getting cameras. I really do. Because like I said, I'm going to sit up here the whole trial and lose my damn mind if we don't have cameras. Because I'm going to have to watch all these content creators running with all these crazy second, third hand narratives from other news agencies. Like I'm gonna get more gray hair in the beard, y'all. I'm gonna get some more gray hair in the face. Hopefully not in the head either, man. I've been holding out pretty good up top, but the facial hair definitely be getting some grays. Stamp true crime stuff and being a parent and doing true crime, you're gonna get hair. And gray hair is happening. Hell, you might lose it.
Cameras in the courtroom allow you to do that, us to do that. Because again, they're public and public for a reason. Now, this becomes an issue in every case, with every defendant. I want to get a fair trial. And every defendant is entitled to a fair trial, but not necessarily a secret trial. And it's interesting to see the reaction of many criminal defendants and their defense teams about how they react to a case when all of a sudden it becomes notorious or high profile and people are invested in finding out and seeing if justice will be done in the case, whatever they believe justice is.
I really like this guy. But let's stop real quick and see what we all saying over here. I know criminal med. I'm heartbroken about that because I believe we're gonna see another murder trial too. I'll be honest with you guys. We're gonna do a live on the Murdaugh case, as I like to call the Murdaugh saga. I'm going to start doing some more lives on that, keep everybody up to date, because I noticed there's not a lot of people like staying caught up on it, at least in my circle. So we're going to do that a little bit more. But yeah, I'm heartbroken about that. I'm going to miss Judge Newman. Yo, Tennessee sweetheart, I like the way you thinking. Ma'am. 100%. That's the best coverage we're going to get. If there's no cameras in the courtroom, JLR being there, hands down, would be the best option. The next best option for us. I like the way you think. Yo, you know what? You're probably right, Pat Gaines. I think maybe regardless if there's cameras or not, we're probably still going to lose our minds because I'm probably still going to be like, oh my God, why are they saying this? Why are they implying this? This is not what was said in court. How did they get this from that? I'm probably still going to lose my mind even with cameras. You're probably right. Let's see. All right. Let's go ahead and jump back into this video, guys. So I don't have you guys up here for 3 hours.
But again, it's not like these trials are happening in his courtroom or the judge's courtroom or the prosecutor's courtroom. It's the public's courtroom.
I love this guy. This guy's the best. I love this guy.
Let's go back in history because we have history here. And I know this is a big case right now, but I've covered some big cases through the years. Former football player, a former mother, and I don't know what the other guy ever did. I don't even know if he ever had a job. He was.
So you have all your experts that have a lot of experience in history with stuff. Like, listen to them. They're scratching their head. They're like, why are they fighting this? Why are they fighting the cameras and transparency? Why? It makes no sense. There's no like foundation for an argument. You know what I mean? There's no logical argument that can be made. Like, there's nothing that the public getting to see the trial every day is going. How can it affect the trial? It can affect the lawyers if they go ahead and decide to consume the content that's happening after the trial, right? Every day, that could sway them. But outside of that, it's like it's not going to affect anything. The public's opinion, like that's not going to affect the jury because they're not supposed to be consuming that content. So get out of here with your weak ass argument, man. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
He was a community watch person, self-appointed. 3 very public trials, extremely public. O.J. Simpson, that woman, and George Zimmerman. Couldn't have been more public. There were headlines, there were news crews, there were reporters, members of the public digging up every detail in these cases. And they happened in different years and different times, but they were so public. And these,
dude, we all know about these cases, dude. I remember being a kid in the OJ case popping, like the other 2 cases as well. Like those are more recent, but high profile. And I think most of us aren't satisfied with the outcomes of those trials, but it didn't seem to affect their trials none, right? At all. Even with the court of public opinion being out against them, it did not affect their verdicts. It went their way. So get out of here with the argument that cameras in the courtroom are going to affect Kohberger's chances of having, a proper trial. Get out.
These 3 cases were enormous cases. The one involving O.J. Simpson was the biggest. I mean, it's bigger than big. Yet, in these very public trials where things were filed in the courtroom and people were allowed to see them, and where motions were made and cameras were there, and there was an openness where you understood what the issues were, and the discussions were done in an open courtroom. In these 3 very public trials, I think the 3 defendants would agree that they got very fair trials. Because all 3 of them,
can't argue that.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Yo, and that rubs me so bad. It's true. But damn, why'd you have to use those 3 people as I can't stand it, bro.
And I would have thought after these 3 trials that whole conversation would have ended. That people would understand that a case
Real
can
quick,
be.
let me stop this. Criminal med. When you talk about the golf bag, you're talking about Ethan's? Is that what you're talking about? Because I'm still trying to get that figured out too. If that's what you're talking about, if the family got that back or not. Because if they didn't, and that's being used as evidence, that's I don't know how that fits into everything. I'm kind of perplexed on that one.
High profile in the news, everywhere, anywhere, people talking about it, people giving their opinions.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of the day.
But check it out. Okay, so you're talking about OJ. I got you. But I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's people claiming, and I can't verify it one way or the other, there's people claiming that they still have Ethan's bag and that it's possible evidence. So if that's true, I don't know if that's true or not, but if it's true, how does that tie in? I'm kind of stuck on that one. It just kind of, when you brought up the golf bag, it made me think about it. I know Tennessee, sweetheart, right? I know. Not guilty doesn't mean they didn't do it. They didn't have enough to convict beyond reasonable doubt. 100%. But come on, man. Even in those trials, I know a lot of us were like, how? All right, Matt. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you being here. You enjoy your dinner. All right, let's jump into it, guys. Let's jump back over into it.
We trust our juries to listen to the judge and base their verdicts on what they see and hear and what they don't see and hear inside the courtroom. What evidence is presented, what evidence isn't there. And if these 3 can get a fair trial, who were all vilified in the media, were convicted.
I like this guy.
By public opinion.
I really like this guy.
All were found not guilty in a court of law. There's somehow, some way, when a trial happens somewhere else, everyone's like, oh my goodness gracious, how on earth is this person going to get a fair trial? Nobody's allowed to see everything. Let's hide it all. That's
a good point, Tennessee sweetheart, right? Especially a leather-based glove, like any leather gloves, they get wet, they're most definitely going to shrink. That's a good point.
And unfortunately, I'm seeing this happen in Idaho. In the Doomsday Cult Killer case, and now in the case in the Idaho students' murders. It's mind-boggling to me that everything is being like hidden in secret. Like this has never been done before.
Now, check this out. I don't want to get too crazy on the conspiracies and stuff, but my boy, you guys have seen him. I'm surprised he hasn't showed up for this live. My boy Rooster Cakes, he pops into the chats. He spent some time living there, and the stuff that he has to say about it makes the way the courts are operating right now make sense. It does, without getting too conspiracy crazy, too off in the weeds with it. We're going to cover that stuff too before the trial starts. We're going to do all the factual stuff, but I'm also going to do a special where I bring him up and let him give his opinions and stuff that he knows about, right? But the things that he's told me make the actions of the court make sense. And especially how he's questioning, like, why is this happening here? Why is it being done this way when all these other cases have been done in front of the cameras? I believe there's a reason for it. And it lends itself to that small college town, but big money running it, if that makes sense. So there's stuff going on behind the scenes, I feel like, that are less up on the up and up, if that makes sense, without getting too crazy into the conspiracy weeds.
Anyway, for those of you who don't know the story and the history, there was a time where people were speaking publicly about this case because they were searching for a killer. Chanley Painter has more for us tonight.
It should be good, Sam. It should be pretty good.
The probable cause affidavit in the case against the accused killer of 4 University of Idaho students pieces together the movements of the suspect vehicle and coordinating cell phone location data beginning in the early morning hours of November 13th. At 2:42 a.m., the affidavit alleges that Bryan Kohberger's phone places him likely at his apartment on the WSU campus where he was a PhD student studying and teaching criminology. At 2:44 a.m., Kohberger's vehicle and cell phone are on the move. Police say his white Hyundai Elantra is spotted on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Nevada Street at Stadium Way.
Real quick, it looks like y'all ladies in chat done figured out the whole OJ crime. I like you guys' theory, though. I definitely like your guys' theory. I'm with it.
According to the affidavit, it was here in this area of the WSU campus where surveillance video and Kohberger's cell phone placed him here around 2:47 a.m. According to the affidavit, he spent several minutes in this area where he allegedly turned off his cell phone before heading out of town toward Moscow, Idaho. By 2:53 a.m., Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra is observed heading in the direction of Moscow, Idaho. At 3:26 a.m., the affidavit then places Kohberger's vehicle, now in the town of Moscow, in this residential neighborhood on Indian Hills Drive. This happens to be a road directly overlooking the Moscow Police Department. The Elantra is picked up on surveillance video moving west past the 700 block of Indian Hills. At 3:28 a.m., video shows the vehicle on Steiner Avenue at Highway 95 as it made its way towards the King Road neighborhood where the victims lived.
Fair, you stop real quick, guys. Yo, what kind of route is that for cruising at night? Right? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of route? Most of us, we do like a cruise at night, to chill out, calm our nerves. It's usually like a back road, you know what I mean? And just catch the moonlight and vibe to some music, and you know what I mean? This fool's route, that was no cruise. That was no midnight cruise. This fool He was on a damn mission, bro. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Then from 3:29 a.m. to 4:20 a.m., the suspect vehicle, the white Hyundai Elantra, is observed multiple times on video passing by 1122 King Road during the alleged time of the murders before being seen on video speeding away on Walenta Drive. The probable cause affidavit states that the car likely...
Right, Sam? It's straight shot. Like, come on. And then criminal men, right? Like, come on, man. They got like scenery there. Like, you're gonna drive over to the college town to like. It don't add up. It don't add up. But all I do know is that alibi is ass, and the alibi basically admits to him being in the area. So the alibi fits the crime, guys. It works out real nice.
Exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive, a road that eventually leads to Pullman, Washington. About 2 hours after he allegedly turned off his cell phone, police say Kohberger turned it back on here near Blaine, Idaho. It's about 10 to 15 minutes south of Moscow, a rural community off Highway 95, and it has its own cell tower. According to the affidavit, from 4:50 a.m. to 5:26 a.m., Kohberger's phone movements show him allegedly moving south towards Genesee, Idaho, and west towards Uniontown, Washington.
Yo, Pat Gaines. I mean, yeah, those are the two, right? I think like if you're depending on if you're city or your country, right? City people, Main Street, back in the day especially, right? Main Street was the get down. They still do that here in Bakersfield where I'm at. You still see car clubs. They'll go down to Main Street, which is called Chester here. And they hit it up and down, park on the sides, they do that whole jam. But if you're not into that, you're into night drives. Usually night drives consist of back roads and all that jazz. What else you guys saying in chat? Right? Makes sense too. Tennessee stayed on main roads. We did 100%, right? He just likes to randomly cruise neighborhoods where there's mass murder. Exactly. It's all the circumstantial evidence, all those little things.
Kohberger may have taken a well-known back road called Thorn Creek Road at this point in his route towards his apartment. These are all very isolated roads, but Thorn Creek Road is known to be even more desolate. Police allege Kohberger eventually made his drive back into Pullman, Washington from the quiet road of Johnson, where his vehicle was picked up on this security camera, the first time a camera captured his Hyundai after the murders were committed. By 5:30 a.m., police tracked the movements of Kohberger's cell phone and vehicle back to his apartment.
And that was information that was the big release initially, the affidavit, the arrest affidavit of the suspected killer. But since then, like, motions have been filed, things have been sealed. And
before we move on though with the video, so I'm sure most of you all have an opinion on what he did with the murder weapon, with the bloody clothes, all that good stuff, right? My whole opinion is he got rid of it on that trip. But where I'm stuck is I'm not sure if it ended up in a body of water or if it was buried. Guess we found out he had a shovel in his trunk, right? So granted, he lived in an area that was snowing, but it's just kind of coincidental. Is that coincidental that there was a shovel in there and he just so happened to take a trip long enough in an area that he could have buried, the evidence? Just an idea. Just want to throw that out there. See what y'all thought about that.
One side is fighting to keep any sort of electronic reporting, television cameras out of the courtroom. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in Idaho. So joining us tonight from Boise, Idaho, trial lawyer, former prosecutor, former Idaho Attorney General Dave Leroy is with us. Also in Boise, retired Deputy Prosecutor, Chief of Special Crimes for Ada County, Idaho, Gene Fisher. Thank you both for being here. Dave, I'll start with you. Do the folks in Idaho not trust jurors to follow the judge's instructions?
Good point,
Do they
Tennessee.
not do voir dire when they pick a jury to make sure that they can
Yo, dude, real quick. I like this guy's attitude. I like this guy's attitude. Me and him could be friends.
be fair and impartial? I mean, I would think the folks in Idaho would be more trustworthy than most states in this country. But am I crazy?
No, I think not. No, we regard our jurors as very just and appropriate to the task. And even before we get to the courtroom, our jurors in high-profile cases will have a juror questionnaire, sometimes many pages long, to try to screen out from the preliminary panel of those that do have an opinion, do know something about the case. But we do have a very unique jurisdiction here, much different than Los Angeles. Latah County is a county of about 40,000 people. The campus has about 12,000 students, and this situation utterly shocked that rural community. Judge has not ruled yet, and perhaps he'll run against the counter and give us a jury trial from inside that courtroom. But frankly, I predict that ultimately both the prosecution and the defense will request a change of venue in this case.
But here's what I think, Gene, like everything is secret.
Yo, before the prosecution started agreeing with the defense this camera stuff, I was like, they're not gonna move it, right? They're not gonna move it. But at this point, dude, all bets are off. All bets are off on what defense and prosecution try to pull with this. I don't like the vibe, guys. The whole vibe, I understand why people have all these conspiracy theories revolving around this case, all the different rabbit holes you can jump down. It makes sense to me. Because the way that the courts are acting, dude, is so sus. It does. It gives you a bad taste. So I get where people are coming from. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat real quick. No, I mean, that makes sense, Tennessee. That makes sense. The phone. That makes sense. CMed, right? Definitely pretty standard, but I mean, definitely pretty useful if you wanted to hide something. Yeah, Tennessee. I mean, he didn't have many friends, so I'm sure he didn't get many calls, especially at 3 a.m. True, very true. So it's like, why did that phone? Why was there lack of activity on that phone during that time frame? Right? Come on.
And we don't want cameras and et cetera. Why would that be? Why would the folks of Idaho?
And you know what, Tennessee, that lines up with what my boy Rooster Cakes. That's what he's saying. He's saying a lot of the crap that's going on is not just the university, but it's the money that backs the university. There's a lot of old money there. So that's what he's telling me. And honestly, there's stuff that I can't confirm or deny. And the more that he tells me and the more this proceeds and these weird things are happening, the more I feel like he's right, because I don't know. It's crazy. I can't wait to do the episode with him once he gets all this stuff together. I really want to do that panel episode and have him come up. It'll be interesting. It'll be completely different than what we usually do, right? Because we're usually rooted in facts and the stuff that we can, the evidence, stuff that we know, right? That's how we do it. But when I bring him up, it'll be a little bit more on that. A little bit more on the conspiracy side, right? It'll be a little bit crazier. So, but it should be fun though. Rooster's, he's a cool dude. He's fun. Let's see what else you guys are saying. I agree. There's no reason to. Exactly. I agree with that 100%, Criminal Med. 100%. I agree with that statement. Yo, talk about tarnish. Like, my boy gets up here. Once I can finally get him up here on a panel to do the Idaho 4 special, the conspiracy special we're gonna do. Yeah, this town's got a lot more than this case tarnishing in its name. Let me tell you. All right, I'll proceed, guys. Sounds like most of you guys are down for a conspiracy episode. Idaho 4, a little bit conspiracy, a little bit out there. It'll be fun.
Not want to have a transparent judicial system. Why would the folks of Idaho not trust their jurors to follow the instructions of the court?
Well, I think those are two very different questions. In fact, I don't think that they align at all. The jurors do follow the instructions, and I think that we have had plenty of instances where our jurors have done exactly what they've been asked to do. The issue of having an open court or having cameras in the courtroom doesn't make it a secret. In fact, in the Vallow case, courtroom, I mean, it was publicized to the press in a press pool room where they could see it live. So, I mean, it wasn't
the press could see it live.
The press was able to watch it,
but the people could see. Here's the thing: you have someone like me telling you
I
what
agree,
happened in
Colonel
the courtroom versus someone actually seeing it. I don't want to. I'm not breaking news tonight, but there are some people that are skeptical of the media as well. So, you know, you give them that first hand.
Tennessee. There's so much more. There's so much more. Oh my Lord. The information that I got dumped on me about that town, and it reminded me when I was in Arkansas. There is a college town in Arkansas. I'm not going to dime out the town, but you know, there ain't too many of them, so you probably figure it out. There's a small college town in Arkansas where I heard a lot of, you know, crazy stuff happens and doesn't get reported on based on families and money and sports and this and that. And from what I understand, it's the same type of scenario that happens in Idaho. Like I said, that's just, you know, that's the hearsay. That's the hearsay in the alleyways of these YouTube streets. But man, I digress. It's gonna be a crazy episode for sure when we get into it.
See and hear the evidence, you'll trust the verdict better, whatever that verdict is. It just seems like transparency, which is what they do down in Florida, creates more trust in our system. So you understand when the jury comes back and says not guilty, you understand why they may come back guilty. And I don't know. I understand you know, there's some self-interest because Court TV, we put cameras in the court.
Looks like some of you all are gonna really appreciate the Idaho 4 conspiracy, you know, episode we do, because when my boy gets up here and starts dropping all his knowledge on you guys, it's gonna blow your mind. And I've vetted that he has the people he knows too. The people he knows, guys, the names that he knows. I'm not speaking on his piece. It's gonna be his piece when he comes up, but y'all gonna have to be here for that episode 100%. 100%, because it's going to be crazy.
We cover the trials anyway. That's not going to stop us from covering big cases. But at the end of the day, I just think all these motions that are being filed under seal, like, what are we doing? We're like hiding everything. And it's not an open public trial and case. To me, it doesn't make sense. Now, there's one other thing that doesn't make sense to me, and this I really need your help on, okay? So there's an issue involving an expert for the defense, and she's like a genealogy expert talking to...
Okay, so here's where we're going to get into the witness tampering, right? The FBI witness tampering. I don't know if you guys heard anything about it or if you guys have watched anything about it, but literally the first little hints of it that we got that came out, people are already spinning it like the FBI is trying to manipulate the outcome of the situation. That was the first spin that I saw on it, right? Doesn't sound like it's necessarily that's what's going on.
About DNA and tracing, you know, people down through DNA. And there was an argument in court between the defense and the prosecutor. First, we're going to hear from the defense. Then we're going to hear from the prosecutor, because something happened here that I don't know if I've ever seen before. Let's take a listen first.
The other motion, Your Honor, has to do with what happens to witnesses that the defense might call. The court will call Gabriella Vargas testified last Friday. The opportunity last time she was visited by 2 FBI agents and interrogated about her testimony, timing, and declaration. That, in our view, impacts Mr. Kohberger's due process rights and his rights to effective assistance of counsel, and that motion will also be filed later today.
over the weekend, Ms. Vargas, after she testified, engaged in some electronic communications with others in the genetic genealogy field. Those indicated, as it was reported to the investigators, to our investigators, that she was reading on some of the things that she testified to in court. When we heard that, I reached out to the investigators and said, can we find out what's going on? And the FBI interviewed.
Yo, so that's a whole different story than what they were trying to spin originally, right? Trying to spin this whole FBI, getting their hands in there, trying to manipulate things. When reality is like this person defense brought up is trying to go back on things. So prosecution's like, hey, what the hell is going on? This is like, you came up here in the court and said your piece, and now you're over here saying this other thing. What the hell is going on? So there is nothing out of the ordinary about that, in my opinion. That's going to happen, right? Like, come on. Like, I don't see anything crazy about that. Like, so the FBI is involved in this case. Sorry. This case involved a man that lived in Washington that committed a unaliving, quadruple unaliving in another state. And then, not only that, ran from those two states to a third state. The FBI is deep off into this. So they're vested. So prosecution's like, hey, this so-and-so is like, going back on what they said, can you investigate this? I don't see anything crazy about that happening. Like, why is that weird? Why is that crazy? How is that the FBI trying to manipulate anything? This cap.
The investigation, and preliminary reports are that Ms. Vargas claims that some of what was in her declaration, she inadvertently agreed to her side without fully reading it. We're documenting that so we can expose it to Ms. Taylor and to the court.
Okay.
So Tennessee sweetheart, like, was she threatened and things of that nature? And there's no saying of that. There's just that she was questioned. She was questioned about her inconsistencies. So if she's the type of person that has no accountability, even just being questioned on her, on her BS, like, that's going to feel like she's being harassed, I'm sure. But it doesn't sound like she was being harassed. It sounds like she was being investigated because of things that she did and said.
Okay, so I'm going to put my understanding of this is that it seems it was an expert witness for the defense who testified about this genealogy stuff. And then, like, the next day, the prosecutor sends 2 FBI agents to knock on her door and question her. Is this unusual, Dave?
Indeed, it is. The testimony of witnesses and the veracity of witnesses tested on cross-examination is a very frequent thing, but having an expert this early in the case either allegedly recant or being questioned by the FBI about whether she was fully aware of what she signed under oath is highly unusual. So again, I see this whole...
I don't think it's highly unusual if you look at it in the aspect of this case being as high profile as it is. If it was just another one of those random cases that hasn't made the international news, I think it'd be one thing. But the fact that this case is so high profile and the FBI is invested in it already, I think the moment they call it, the prosecution's calling in like, hey, we need you to look into this. I don't feel like that's that crazy. It might not be that. It might not happen a lot, but I feel like in the circumstances, it's not that crazy. But maybe that's just me.
The whole case is developing over the next several months as a battle of procedural this and that's. The evidence here is allegedly very compelling, very strong, very tight, very scientifically based. We're going to see a lot of unique procedural battles in this case, this probably being an opening round of highly different nature.
Is this improper, Gene? Is this an act of intimidation? I mean, the FBI knocks on your door. You're going to be like why is the FBI knocking at my door? And it's an expert witness for the...
How else they supposed to question you on something? What else they supposed to do? If I'm wanting to question you and know the truth, I'm showing up and we talking so I can see not just what... I don't just want to hear what you're saying. I want to see your body language. I want to see the whole nine. So if I'm investigating something, I'm showing up, bro. That's just it. That's what I'm doing. Exactly, right? Exactly. So you got to look at it this way, right? Defense is pulling out all the stops the best they can. Best they can, right? Anything questionable, defense is going freaking 10. I mean, they doubling down on it, right? So that being said, you got to expect the prosecution to do the same thing. So the prosecution seeing defense witness specialists get up there and say something, and then they catch wind of this person saying something totally different over here. Bro, as prosecution, I'm freaking. You better let me know. I want to know everything about what's just transpired, right? Like prosecution wouldn't be doing their due diligence if they didn't look into it. So to fault prosecution on any level looking into it, regardless of who they use to look into it, it's stupid. It's stupid. Let's see what else you guys saying. Exactly, man. Like, and I get it too, right? Yeah, it's scary. FBI showed up, but I wouldn't be that scared if I didn't have nothing to hide. You know what I mean? If I didn't have nothing to hide, I wouldn't be scared. But if I knew I was saying one thing in court and I was saying a whole nother thing over here, I'd be a little nervous. I would feel a little intimidated myself. But if I didn't have nothing to hide, yo, the FBI shows up and be like, yo, this is what I said. Stand by what I said, because I'm going to say something right here and then go say something different over here. I'm going to be cool. Whatever. Nice to meet you guys. Probably have a conversation about fishing or something. You know what I mean? But I guess not her. She felt a little intimidated. What's she hiding?
The other side. I mean,
well, it's an expert witness for the other side who recanted what she had just testified to. The stakes in this case couldn't be higher. It would be derelict for the prosecutor to not go and find out, did she testify to something wrong? Is it not?
What I just say? What I just say, guys. That's literally what I just said. I didn't say like she said it, right? But that's what I was saying.
Right? Do they have is there something here that they should know about? Remember, the prosecution always has the duty to disclose any information that might be that might be helpful to the defense. On the other hand, they also have the right to question witnesses who have testified and then come back and recant to make sure where is this coming from? And they would have been derelict if they didn't.
100%.
They didn't threaten her. They asked,
right.
what happened here?
Preach,
but
lady,
I'm wondering if
preach.
it's an expert witness, is it different? Do you kind of go through counsel and say, hey, counsel, I'd like to set up a deposition or an interview with your expert? You can, I'm trying to understand that process. I've never seen this before. Dave, do you think that's how it usually goes? Or is this because it's being perceived and portrayed as an alleged act of intimidation, like you're intimidating this witness?
Well, or an alleged act of attorney sloppiness or activities of all kinds that combine together to put in false or suspect testimony, both in writing, it appears, in an affidavit, and perhaps in the courtroom. So obviously something that should be cleared up immediately, obviously something that probably has some blame both on the expert and perhaps on the...
No, see, criminal men, I agree. See, I get what we're watching. I get what we're listening to. The level of court that we're at, the level that this trial's at, the seriousness of recanting at this level of things, at this stage of things, is serious. Is dead ass serious. So I don't think that's really setting in with some people that are watching this. I don't think they're really getting how serious that is. So I still stick with, I know it's not the usual protocol, the way that they did things, but if I was prosecution, dude, I want to know.
Those who
I'm getting aggressive.
Sponsored an affidavit as just and truthful.
So this is a key witness. Gabrielle Vargas is her name. And she's, I think the defense is using her to try to get that DNA, the original DNA match that was used in this case to get the arrest kind of tossed out. Take a look. She's talking about the database tools have known loopholes that allow a genealogist to see matches that have explicitly declined to participate in law enforcement matching. This is not a glitch in the programming causing this by accident. It is a standard feature within the tools that essentially tricks the system into displaying all matches as opposed to only those who have consented to law enforcement matching. This is not a loophole, nor is this something you'll stumble upon.
using the tool this way requires effort and knowledge. And I guess the point of her, Gene, was that these sites now, you have to opt in order to allow law enforcement to use whatever DNA you have put into these systems in the different sites where you try to find your ancestors. If there's sort of rules like that that are broken by law enforcement, could that get the evidence tossed out, or does it have to be something more than just a rule by the company?
Yeah, I just think that this is such a hugely unfolding field right now, that there's all kinds of new laws that are being made and judgments and determinations that are being made by the court all across the nation on this. But right now, the rulings have mostly been in favor, I think they've all been in favor of the state in a number of state courts about the genealogy charts and how far the defense has been allowed to go to actually try and.
So essentially, there's no definite yes or no on whether that was right or wrong based on like actual state law, right? Is coming down to the company, basically. Is the gist of what I'm getting here, and that in previous situations that usually the ruling is in favor of the state. So at this point, it's like, God, they have an uphill battle to get that DNA thrown out. And like at this point too, I'm in the strong opinion that the DNA, yeah, it got us to this point, but it ain't gonna be what puts the nail in the coffin. So it's like the defense is gonna spend all this time, effort, and energy to go after the DNA, right? And prosecution's gonna oblige to fight, because as long as the defense is concentrated on this whole DNA thing, they're gonna put all that energy and time, effort, and resources into fighting that battle and not concentrate on all the other circumstantial evidence that I feel is way more damning. So prosecution, in my opinion, even if they don't think they need the DNA, keeping that fight up for the DNA and tying up defense with the DNA fight, is a freaking amazing strategy. It's playing chess at another level.
Bring in other what the court has determined not relevant evidence. So I think that right now this is such an evolving area, and will continue to be such an evolving area. It's an incredible tool for cold cases. But the issue of how far back they get to talk about genealogy and seemingly unrelated matters is yet to be determined.
Okay, real quick, Fair, you stop. Let's go ahead and I want to get to these comments, right? The data sound, the system good, and the end result that they have a almost perfect match. You can't debate that, and it's now sound science. I agree with you, Criminal Med. So, like I said, I don't feel like they have to have the DNA to sew it up. I feel like everything else can sew it up. But if defense loses this war they're going to with the DNA, they've consumed so much time and effort on that battle that it takes away from their other battles. And then if they lose on top of that, right? So then if they lose the DNA battle, the DNA on top of all the other circumstantial evidence, guys, it's a wrap, in my opinion. It's a wrap. But we shall see. What else you guys saying in the chat? Let me make sure I'm getting it all. Yeah, okay, see, yeah, Tennessee Sweetheart. Yes, they put all their eggs in their basket with DNA because that is really all they have. 100%, that's all they have. It's the only thing they can argue against, right, to try to get thrown out on the basis of, the procedure being wrong. But that's it. They can't fight anything else in their damn alibi. They've conceded to him being in the area. So it's, defense is screwed. In my opinion, defense is screwed. I don't know how people think that this dude's innocent. It blows my mind. I know innocent until proven guilty, whatever. But like looking at the affidavit, looking at all the evidence, looking at everything, dude, studying this. Dude, I've been studying this stuff since it started. Like, I don't understand how you could do that much research and come to the conclusion that he's innocent. Like, it's crazy. Let's see what else you guys saying. Yeah, no, they did, Tennessee. They tested all that too. They tested. It's a wrap. It's just the tests aren't questioned. The accuracy is not questioned. It's the procedure, the process of acquiring that information is what the legal issue is here. And like I said, even at that, even if they get thrown out, I still believe we have the guy. I still think he's done. What else we got in chat? It's likely they have more DNA and digital evidence. No, I agree with that too. So it's like, what's funny if they fight the DNA evidence on the knife, right? So say they get that thrown out, I just, there's more, man. I just believe there's more. I agree with you, Roger. There's definitely more. If that's all I could come up with, I wouldn't have given an alibi. True. I feel like the alibi hurt him 100%. I agree with that. I feel like the alibi hurt him. The alibi was him conceding to the fact that he was there in that vehicle at those times. I agree. And I agree with that one too. Criminal met. There's really no other truly sound suspect. Some look good for a while, but they really have actually sound connecting digital forensics. 100%. Couldn't have said that better. I agree with that statement. All right, guys, let's jump back over into this video.
And so this is a real issue. But what you're telling me, which I think is good news for prosecutors, is that right now things are kind of rolling their way, that this should be still permitted. Okay. Dave Leroy, Gene Fisher, we're just beginning this case. So I know we're going to call on you again and again and again. So thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we got more to get to here. We're going to take a look at the evidence in this case and the crucial piece of evidence that I think is the game over evidence, plus coming up next hour.
In the low country of South Carolina, shocking new allegations against
Just
the
a little
court clerk
commercial, and it'll
Becky
get to this
Hill,
next
who was in
part.
charge of the jury during Alec Murdaugh's double murder trial and has written a book about the case.
We're going to be covering that as well,
Tonight,
guys.
we hear from
We're
the
going to be covering
lawyer
that as well.
representing the jurors who the defense says were improperly
It's kind of a perfect
influenced
commercial.
by
We're going to
the
be
court.
covering
Well, I can't talk
the
about
Murdaugh
attorney-client
retrial.
privilege information. I can tell you that when I shared with him the affidavits, he's a lawyer. He was astonished. He was shaking. He was in disbelief, and he thanked Mr. Harpootlian, Mr. Barber, and myself for spending our weekends on dirt roads in Colleton County.
All right.
Bradley Caraway, charged with
I
murder
agree,
and
Tennessee,
leading to
sweetheart.
an accident.
Let me see.
Or to take a deal killed by their own children.
/legendary
All right,
trials to
guys.
find out how to watch.
Here we go. I think this is the second part. Yeah.
So to break that down, if you were to take a DNA test of ancestry and want to upload to GEDmatch, when you input that file, it's going to ask you, do you consent to law enforcement matching? And if you hit no, and I am working violent crime non-DOE case, I should not be able to see that you are a match to my unknown DNA contributor. You said should not. Should not. Does it happen anyway?
Yo, I'm not trying to be mean, but yeah, this lady, she don't look so trustworthy. There's something about her. I ain't trying to be mean. I don't know what you guys think, but the way that she's answering questions, her body movement and stuff, man, I don't know if I'm trusting this lady. What she's saying. Like, she just, I don't know what it is. I got an off vibe about her. I don't know about you guys, but I ain't vibing.
It does. It has.
It's Gabriela Vargas, expert witness for the defense in the Idaho student murder case.
Okay, so
she's crucial.
So this is the lady. This is the lady that supposedly got harassed by FBI. Hey, I don't know, man. I'm going to keep my judgments down. Let's proceed a little bit farther into this before I start saying some stuff. But you guys agree, right? Her body language is off. Like, she just gives off that sus vibe, real sus vibe. Right, Sam? Definitely does not come off across like an expert. I agree with you. Attitude is odd. Body language is off. So you guys are seeing it. It's not just me. Okay, cool. Let's proceed.
She's a crucial witness here because this is one way the defense is trying to get the DNA evidence tossed from this case. And this is the same witness who, after she testified there on the stand, next day the FBI went down there, or a couple days later, FBI knocked on her door and interviewed her. Defense described it as an interrogation. I wasn't there. I don't know. But let's take a listen to more of her testimony, because remember, this is how investigators develop that probable cause to make the arrest. Let's watch.
There are a lot of tools that are available in JedMatch. These tools allow you to.
Yo, she's struggling, y'all. She's struggling. She like, what's that word? Is it just me? Maybe it's just me, but she's, in my opinion, she's struggling, y'all. Nope, not. Yo, right? Not straightforward whatsoever, dude. She's struggling. This is not an expert. Now I understand why prosecution was like, yeah, can y'all go down there, make sure things are on the up and up.
Make comparisons of two or more people and how they relate to each other and share DNA. One of these tools allows you to compare many matches, not only against your DNA profile that you're working, but also against all of their matches to see if their matches match each other. When you utilize this tool,
like I said, I'm not trying to be judgy. I'm not trying to be mean here, but oh man, how do I put this? Is she on something? Is she on something, guys? Is she on something? Exactly, her eyes, bro. She looked like she's struggling to keep them things up, and she like, you know, where's that word at? I just saw that word, bro. Like, come on. How did defense even do this? How did defense be like, this is a good idea to put her up there? This is a good idea. You're killing me, man. Thanks, Sam. Don't let her know. Don't let her know. Don't tell on me, man. Don't let her know I was judging and whatnot, making fun of her. I apologize.
there is a feature that you can edit the list of kits that are originally selected. I put the kit number in, I run a tool called One Too Many, and it's going to show the top 500 matches that this subject has. I then would go to utilize the manipulation tool, the loophole. You would then go click the top match and run their matches. So the top match of your subject's top match, you would run their matches. Okay.
I know you ladies like y'all got some side eyes going. Like, what the for real, yo? This is the first time I'm hearing this, guys. This is the first time I'm hearing her testimony and stuff. And yo, I don't even know, guys. I don't even know how to react to this. I'm like, I'm trying not to be mean, and I'm trying not to be extra judgmental. But yo, dude, I'm just gonna let it play a little bit more. I gotta stop.
Once you run their matches, there is a tool that allows you to edit that list of matches.
That shit is so funny.
So we're looking at the
Tennessee, you funny.
Subjects top relative, not the subject's matches, right? When you edit the kit list, if you put the subject's kit number into this tool that you're going to now analyze.
Yo, was she explaining it already? Like, why is she doing all this extra stuff? You just spit it out. Damn. Holy goodness. Almost felt like she was like doing Tai Chi. She was like over here and over there. And yo, what the hell did I just watch? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, what did you say, Criminal Man? Oh my God. Bro, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll continue. I apologize.
These matches, it tricks the system and allows you to see matches that you wouldn't have seen when you ran your initial match list.
Yo, so Criminal Man, basically it sounds like she was just trained on how to click buttons, but she really doesn't know what's happening. She just like knows I gotta put this in here, click this thing, and then this thing says this thing, and then I give this thing to this guy, and that's it. Like, I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. And they got me up here trying to explain some shit I don't even know. I don't even know. It's crazy, yo.
Again, this is a witness talking about how law enforcement can find people in these DNA genealogy charts, even though they may have not opted in to allow law enforcement to search for them. Big part of this case, DNA is the game over evidence for prosecutors. Joining us tonight, Jacksonville, Alabama, forensic death investigator, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, host of the very popular Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, back with us. Yeah, the judge got to make some.
Yo, that's perfect, Tennessee. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was getting at. Her expertise and clicking that damn mouse. Oh, bro. That shit is too much, guys.
Decisions here, et cetera, on all of this. But the bottom line is this is an incredible tool that didn't exist years ago, but now it seems like there may be some.
Yo, she was using that word heavy, yo. It was all about them features. It's all about them features. Loophole tools and shit.
Some bumps in the road if you don't have people opting in to allow law enforcement to search their results.
Yeah, and it leads down this dark road of reasonable doubt, doesn't it? As to the validity of the test itself. Remember then, and you know, you've got a very smart audience. Maybe they've heard about Dahlberg Fry. And
real quick though, too, like my question is, okay, let's say that there was a step in this process the law enforcement bypassed, you know, some type of like security. You can't have my blood information type deal, right? So say they bypassed that. Could they have got that information with the subpoena anyways? Could they have subpoenaed the company for records anyways? Like, even if you were to use their service, right, the company service, and mark that you don't want your information being put into the pool of information, can law enforcement subpoena that information and get it regardless? So are we arguing about, like, you know, the process that in the end could have been, this information could have been acquired anyways? I got questions.
Begin to think about these tests, these hoops essentially that you have to go through in order to validate scientific testing. And here's the rub. You're essentially going into a database that is created by a private entity. This is not like something that is being utilized, say, for instance, with CODIS, that is held by the FBI and by the feds, and you look into that database, you're talking.
Yo, Tennessee sweetheart, you're so funny. Yep, she was just reading what was on the ceiling because any layperson can be trained to click on boxes. On boxes doesn't make you an expert. 100%. Yo, dead ass. That was
talking about something that is outside of that purview. So then it draws into question the validity of it. Are there any controls in place? How has this been kind of walked through the process?
Yo, how is my community, my chat? How are you smarter than the damn expert they had up on the stand? How y'all smarter? Yo, man, this shit is too much. I love you guys. You guys have made my life. It's been a great live, dude. So it's so much fun.
Process and demonstrated time and time again in court over the years. And you don't have that history here, Ben. And that's one of the things that's kind of bringing this up at this point, you know, and when you have an expert witness that's talking about, I mean, let's face it, she's talking about manipulating a test to a certain degree that you can, you know, get a peek into areas that otherwise you would not have the opportunity to do so, particularly with this database that she's talking about. It can raise some pretty ominous questions.
So let's get to the affidavit, because this is, to me, this is game over stuff. The Idaho State Lab located a single source of male DNA.
Yo, I know you guys use your brains 100%, logical thinking, but damn, guys, you have to admit, common sense and logical thinking is at a premium nowadays. That's not very common. So the fact that I have so many people that are subscribed that come into this community and bring this type of intelligence and critical thought process, like it's a blessing for me, man, because I see some people's chats, bro. Some people's chats struggle. They be struggling. I'm being nice to you, you know what I mean? You guys know some of these chats be struggling.
The suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath.
Yes.
Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence
Thank you, Sam.
in
Thank you.
Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the
Criminal,
DNA
man.
profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. So I've got in my hand here a sheath like that, Joseph, and I'm looking at it and I see a button snap here.
Yep.
It's obvious if you're going to open it or close it, you know, you can get some DNA on it right there. Is there any other way that DNA from the suspect could have gotten on there? Like, is there any other innocent way that it ends up on a knife sheath beneath the
like
body
this guy.
of the victim?
Oh, I like him.
Okay, if we're going to play this out, let's just say that an individual randomly walks into a sporting goods store, picks up that knife because they're interested. Maybe they want to purchase it. Maybe it's the suspect.
Okay, that's cap right there, right? Okay, let's stop him before we even get any deeper into this delusion that he's about to say. Okay, so what he's about to imply is that somehow Bryan Kohberger came across that knife and knife sheath and was messed with it because he was going to buy it back in the day. And then just so happens he didn't buy it, but somebody else got it, and that somebody else went and committed this crime. But that somebody else wiped off all the DNA except for Bryan Kohberger's little bit of DNA in the snap. Do you guys? That's ludicrous. That's got some. What? Please get the hell out of here with that, bro. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to stop him before he implied that ridiculous nonsense, because that shit is crazy, right? Y'all agree with me, right? Like, to imply like there's some innocent way that shit got there, and it was the only source that got there is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Holy shit.
They take that button that's on there and they actuate it. If you flip that button open, Ben, that underside of that button has kind of a sharp edge. If you flick it up with the thumb, it's not really sharp, but it's well defined. You can kind of scrape off dead skin cells.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I can feel
that.
the scraping. Yep.
Yeah, and if you're actuating that thing, let's just say you're standing there at a counter in some sporting goods store, and you're flipping this thing open over and over again just to see what it's like. Can I snap it open easily? Yeah, I suppose you could put that forth as a potential theory.
I'm telling you right now, guys, how the hell is this man given this? I don't know. How are you going to go up there as an expert or a talking head and give this type of opinion? This shit is insane. How? Y'all in chat, you guys hear this? This is nuts. This is the same type of crap that generates conspiracy theories online. Like, for real. If he was to ask me, is there any like innocent way that this could happen, I'd be like, yeah, like in a fantasy world, it could happen. But realistically, probability wise, like, no, ain't no way in hell single source DNA is getting on the snap of this sheath without, dude, get the out of here. You killing me, man. Killing me. Y'all believe this? What? Yo, put me up on these big shows, bro. Ask me. Bring me up there. I got way better takes than these people do. Way better takes. And I'm not even being big-headed about it. I know my takes are better than that.
However, this sheath that was found at the scene.
Walk it back,
let me
please.
throw a number to you. They're talking about a number that is mind-blowing here when you talk about the DNA probability. 5.37 octillion. Let that sink in. All right.
All right. Let's make more sense.
That's what you're looking at when it comes to Bryan Kohberger. And that's, that's where you talk about a game over scenario. But you get in, the devil is in the details. When you begin to go through this analysis, going back to what we were earlier talking about and what Gene so effectively said in the first segment, this is new. This is new territory, and it happens to be, being utilized in arguably one of the most high-profile cases that, the nation has seen in years and years. So there's going to be a lot of scrutiny over this. But yeah, I think that a reasonable person would ask that question. How in the world did that sheath with his DNA wind up in that bed with those young women?
So three options, right? Three options. We have option A. Bryan Kohberger handled a knife in a knife sheath at a sporting goods store, and somebody else bought it and used it to commit these murders. Another option is Bryan Kohberger, somebody got his DNA and put it on that knife sheath and planted it. Or the third option is Bryan Kohberger purchased a knife in the knife sheath, wiped the whole thing down before he committed this crime, but missed a little bit of his DNA on the snap, and he's the one that did it. I'm going with that option. I don't know about y'all. That one seems more probable.
Immediately adjacent, mind you, to the leg of one that we're finding out right now. And again, it's mind-blowing. The numbers are mind-blowing. But, as the Attorney General mentioned, this is going to be a case that is fought procedurally. I think, what steps were taken along the way. There's so much that we don't know at this point.
There's a ton we don't know. And
yeah,
eventually they have to go public with it inside at some point. We shall see.
Yeah.
Judge Scott Morgan, out of time for tonight. Great to see you. Body Bags Podcast.
Good to see you, buddy.
We'll see you again really, really soon. When we come back, folks, we're going to check in and see how the families of the victims are doing. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, guys, come on, man. Come on. Y'all with me, right? It's option 3, right? It's Kohberger, right? Kohberger wiped his shit down and missed the spot, right? That's what it is. There ain't no way this was... Come on, man. You guys... Does anybody in here believe that it was planted? I know y'all didn't believe... You guys don't believe that, right? So, like, it wasn't planted. There's no way in hell that scenario with it being in a store, being touched, there's no way that happened. There's no way, right? No way. Has to be option 3. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let me see. Sam, you for the option 3. Yeah, it is only his. Single source DNA at that too. That's why it's like so insane to me that both other theories, whether it's planted, that's crazy, it's single source. So whoever planted it literally had to be able to get his DNA onto that thing without anybody else's DNA on it, right? How hard would that be? That's insane. And then the other option, like I said, being at the store, it's like, it doesn't make sense. There's no way. There's no freaking way. You're killing me, y'all. Killing me. Let's proceed. We got a little bit more. We're almost done. I know I've had you guys on here forever today, but I appreciate you guys being here. Some of y'all have been here the whole damn time, man. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys have the best conversations, best conversations in any chat on YouTube. Hands down. My crew.
want every parent to be able to have an opportunity to speak about their child and the nuances of what made them special. And then our ultimate goal is where people remember these kids and remember how bad this situation was, but it's them that they remember and not the person who did it. This person needs to disappear when it's over and said with. They're not important. They're just a mistake that we let fall through our society's cracks, and we corrected that. And now we can, really kind of assess how much we lost when we lost these children.
Yo, man. Oh, dude. It always hits me in the feels, guys. I ain't gonna lie. The moment the parents start talking, the way that Steve talks too, it, yo, man, I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. As a father myself, I can't even imagine. I try not to, honestly. I'll be honest with you guys. When I'm covering this, and especially when I'm covering what we're about to cover right now with the parents, I literally got to try to not let myself drift into that zone. Because I'm a pretty empathetic person, and the moment I start hearing it's a lot. It's a lot. 100%. Criminal med 100%. And for a long time too, I just recently changed my thumbnails up. Right. I for a long time I didn't like putting the victims' faces on and stuff, and having faces of people that belong to the case up. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, dude, that's kind of stupid. You should put them out there, because the more people see their face, the longer their memory, is going to be there. So, but yeah, they're the most important part.
That's Steve Gonsalves. He is the father of Kelly Gonsalves, one of the 4 victims in the Idaho student murders case. And joining us now, the attorney representing the Gonsalves family, Shannon Gray, joins us again. Shannon, thanks so much. Great to see you tonight. How's everybody holding up? Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like this is going to be a long, long process.
Well, I mean, I think everyone was hopeful that the trial would go in October, but I think everyone was prepared that it wouldn't. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You were hopeful that it might go in October, but realistically, we kind of knew that the chances of that going was pretty low. So you get your hopes up a little bit, but now we know that it's going to be delayed for probably several months. There's a lot of evidentiary motions that the court has to sort through. So hopefully, when they get through these motions and a lot of the issues that they're facing right now, they'll be ready to roll. So.
Let me ask you, Shannon, and I've been talking about this a lot this hour, that a lot of this has been sealed and secret and
Tennessee, 100%. I'm glad you said something like that. I agree with that. Let me read this. These 4 kids didn't deserve this, and the focus needs to go back to justice for them and their families, and quit giving BK what he wants. No, I agree with that 100%. And that's what's driving me crazy about all these content creators now starting to flip script recently, and pushing the idea that he may be innocent and all this other crazy nonsense where there's no evidence. There's nothing backing his innocence at all. There's literally nothing supporting his innocence whatsoever. Only things supporting his guilt. And it's just, we should be pushing for truth, guaranteed. But everything that we've seen so far, this dude is guilty. So to sit up there and try to find all these little weird little things to try to create a narrative where he might be innocent, it's infuriating to me, because we want justice, and most of us understandably that this is the guy, and we want justice. So yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yes, criminal med. These were good kids doing the right things. A true loss. 100%. These were productive members of society. They were about to go be pillars of their communities and live good lives. And this demon, who probably resented everything that those kids, stood for in his brain or represented in his brain, everything he could never be, all of his inadequacies, all of his shortcomings, they represented that. It's I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm getting in my feels, bro. Getting in my feels.
And shielded from the public. And I'm wondering if the families are in the same boat as the rest of the public. Like when things are revealed and when they will be revealed in the court, as we are seeing it for the first time, will that be the first time for the families as well to learn some of the details and facts of this case?
Yeah, we don't know anything about the case. There hasn't been any information that's really been shared with us that we're privy to in any way. So,
can you guys imagine that? Can you guys imagine your children are unalived? Law enforcement knows enough to arrest an individual and put the death penalty upon this individual, yet they have not told you hardly anything. You're just literally sitting there like the rest of the society, wondering about the details, except for you're wondering about the details of your own children's unaliving. It's torture. What those parents are going through right now, it's torture. It's 100% torture. I lose my words on it because, like I said, I'm empathetic, so it hits me in the feels, and then my logic wants to step in and start like breaking it down. It's just such a shitty situation. I pray for them. I do. I pray that dude gets the bullet, honestly, guys. I'll be honest with you. I hope he gets the firing squad. I already told me and Roger Lynn, I don't know if he's still in here right now, but we've agreed that if you could sign up for, the firing squad, we down. He said he'd come pick me up in Cali. We will carpool up there. But I digress, guys. I'm sorry.
When there are hearings that are done or motions that are filed, that's all new information for us. So we're getting it and taking it in just as the public's taking it in, because we're not privy to any new information. So,
and how have communications been like? Like, I understand you're representing the family. Do they have advocates as well helping these families together work through this process, or has that basically fallen on your lap in all of this?
Well, we have there's a victims advocate that from the Latah County Prosecutor's Office that reaches out to us to give us some updates on things, but it's mainly my job to guide the family through everything, and I'm more than happy to do it. They are a great family. All the families that I've spoken to and are just really good people, and they're always going to be a part of my life.
You could tell he's taking on the trauma. You could tell he's taking on that family's trauma. You can see in his face. He looks, from the start of this to this point, he looks weathered, guys. He does. He definitely looks like it's taking a toll on him, and I don't know how it couldn't.
And so I'm more than happy to guide them through this process and make sure that they know exactly what's going on and what to expect. So,
and when all this happens, I presume they're all going to be there. And will they be permitted to be in the courtroom the whole time? I don't know if they're going to be witnesses at any point. Do you know anything about that yet?
Yeah, I don't know anything about them being witnesses in this case as of right now. Everyone will be in the courtroom during the trial. There may be days that they might want to skip so they can, keep the memory of what they have alive and it not be tainted in some way by evidence that might be presented at trial. But I'll be there, or family members will be there every day during this trial until it ends. So.
Well, Shannon, nice to see you tonight. Please give our best to the family, and we'll continue to cover this as we get closer and closer, hopefully to a trial and hopefully to some sense of justice. Shannon Gray joined us tonight.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right, guys, that is it. That's all I got for y'all tonight. So, feel like this is a good live, guys. We had a lot of good conversation. Chopped up a lot of good ideas, kicked around a lot of theories. Definitely coming away from this live feeling like there's more clarity for me on certain things. Like when you guys interject your ideas or your opinions, it makes me relook at things better, get a little bit clearer view on things. Awesome though. Awesome live. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Let me check live the chat real quick. Make sure I don't miss anything before we wrap this up. Right. I mean, criminal med in a perfect world. In a perfect world, that would happen, right? Like, dude, you did your thing. You got your fame. Just go ahead and confess to it. Let's be done with it. Tennessee, man, I almost did it. I almost went to law school. I was kicking around the idea to do that. And I'm right there with you. I'm really empathetic. It's like I'm pretty good. I'm emotionally solid, right? Emotionally mature, but my empathy would get the best of me, and not so much in a sad, depressed way. My temper would probably get the best of me as an attorney. I'll be honest with you. If I could sit on the sidelines and be an assistant, you know what I mean? Give commentary to what's popping off in my opinions. I'm pretty good with that. But outside of that, I'd love to be able to do it, but I probably just couldn't pull it off. Yeah, guys, that looks like it. That looks like all the questions in chat. Looks like I'm caught up. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Appreciate you guys for hanging in this far. Replay gang, if you made it this far, drop some questions. Since you didn't get to hang out with the chat, drop some questions down for me in the comments. Let me know, your thoughts, your opinions, questions. Some of the people in chat will probably drop in with their opinions on it. But either way, let's hear from you guys. Replay gang, let me hear you guys. What else, guys? What else? Little housekeeping for the channel. Smash that like. If you're new here, smash that subscribe. If you're new here and made it this far, dude, what are you doing? Smash the subscribe, seriously. And if you guys could, regardless if you're here right now or it's replay gang, share it, get it out there, let people see it. We got like 3 hours, 16 minutes of great content, in my opinion, especially if they're rewatching the chat and chopping up, the conversation. One more check on the chat just to make sure before I wrap it up. Sam, you're very much welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you had an awesome time. All right, guys. That looks like all the questions. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Socials are in the description. All the links are down in the description or at the channel bio. Thank you, Tennessee sweetheart. Appreciate you for being here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Until the next live or the next premiere drops, it's your boy, the Piscine Predator, a.k.a. TPP, baby. Much love, y'all. I'm out. Peace.